From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Jinxes aren't real. They're not.
Okay.
The Mariners are taking on the Astros tonight, which is what it would normally say. Also, strangely, George Kirby on the mound and I, Stacy Rost, am already putting us on no-hitter watch.
Wow, Stacy's already jinxing the game. That's
already.
I can't believe she'd do that.
An innocent start to this inning. Kirby retired the first two, and now the Astros have plated three. They lead by 3.
And here comes Danny. That's going to be it for George here in his first start of the year.
I need a jinx that can be proven in the game today. Julio will get a base hit in his first at-bat.
We have just received word that Julio Rodriguez is a late scratch from the lineup. We do not know why, and there will not be an update until after the game.
Listen.
You did it.
No, I didn't.
You did
I
it.
didn't do anything.
She did it.
No, you guys are all insane, and I was getting a lot of tweets about this. I was getting texts on the text line when I wasn't even on air. They were texting Mike Salk, telling him that I was responsible for this, and I just want you guys to know I'm not responsible for anything. Nothing. George Kirby was out there. Thank goodness he was able to leave the game healthy, shaking off a little bit of rust. How is this my fault?
Your fault.
No.
You did
Your
this.
fault.
Jinxes aren't real. Jinxes aren't real. You guys need to stop.
How much more evidence do we need?
We don't need more evidence. Even you said yesterday when I tried to say Julio's going to get out there and get a base hit, the next thing you guys say is, well, you can't just predict something. It has to be a jinx, like saying the Mariners are going to win, which I did.
You feel guilty right now.
No, I don't.
That's the thing.
Nope.
I've worked with you for 3 years now.
No, I don't.
I'm looking at your body language.
No,
you feel guilty.
No.
So I'm not even tripping off of this
I don't
loss.
feel guilty. I don't
Because
feel guilty.
this is Stacy. This is all Stacy. Mariners, don't worry about it. You guys will bounce back today. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
They'll bounce back.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that has the potential to be a jinx.
Bumper.
No.
Are you jinxing the Mariners?
Are you
Not a jinx.
jinxing the Mariners?
No.
Hold on.
It's all about how you say things.
No,
It's about how you say it.
I don't know, bro.
They're
I think you're
bouncing
jinxing
back.
the Mariners right now.
They're good.
I think he's
They're
jinxing
good.
the Mariners.
Because I think if I were to come out and say, no one else is going to get hurt, and the Mariners are going to win the next 3 games.
Listen to the way you said it. Your tone is all jacked up.
No, it's because I really believe
It's all in the tone.
No, it's not
in the
even
body
no,
language.
No.
It's all jacked up. Me, I'm sitting here like a coach. Like, we're all right, boys. We got this. We're going to bounce back today. Don't worry about it. There's a difference. You're like, you know, it just something seems off.
Because I don't think jinxes are
I
real.
might have to sit one more seat away from you because
like if I get struck by
yeah,
lightning.
something ain't right over there.
I'm telling you right now, even though, Matt, excellent production effort on that.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I'm really proud of that one.
Really funny, a great song choice, but I still don't believe jinxes are real. I still do not believe them. Julio getting scratched, which I did not contribute to, and George Kirby not having a perfect game, which I didn't actually think he would do, does not prove anything about jinxes existing.
Check this out, though. Great point by the 206.
Okay.
Did she say perfect game, watch, or no hitter? Either way, first pitch, Kirby hit the batter. You put that bad juju on him.
Yeah, that's still a no-hitter.
It hit the batter. It's just everything seemed off.
Perfect game was out the window.
From
but
the start.
Last time I checked,
I'm telling you, Stace.
technically you just allowed a base runner, but it wasn't a hit.
I need you to change your tone today.
I'm
All
not
today,
going
your
to change
tone
anything.
needs to be changed.
No, because here's the thing. I have remained fairly positive and optimistic about this Mariners team. That's the tone that should matter. I'm not stressed about a god-awful loss
I ain't worried
to
about
the
that.
Astros team. And I still think, and this isn't a jinx, I still think the Mariners can go away with a split this series or even a series win.
Yeah, no,
I really do. I really do believe that. Let's talk about the game itself because the entirety of the text line is just yelling, 206, turn it off, stop it. Someone said, I told you Julio was going to get hurt. Well, we got a fairly positive update about Julio. He's only day to day. He'll be fine.
A little back stiffness.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look, I was a little concerned when I heard back stiffness and not like food poisoning. But what are you going to do? No, I still don't believe that jinxes are real. I think it's funny, but I don't believe they're real.
Yeah. Live your own life, Stacy.
Okay.
You know, you only get one of these as far as we know. But as far as the Mariners go, listen, what expectations did we have for George Kirby? My expectation was I just want him to get out there, fill the game again, get used to throwing your pitches at a high level in an intense type situation, and just get out healthy. And for the most part, he did that. Also, what we expected. Look, the Astros like to beat the Mariners. It is what it is. They could downplay it all they want to and say, it's not a rivalry, whatever. We're just playing right. No, we know. I talked to fans in Houston, and they try to downplay it as well. You guys like beating us. We like beating you. We are division opponents. It all makes sense. And for Altuve to have the game of the year, it makes sense. It was against
He had not
the
had
Mariners.
an RBI.
Yeah, my man had 2 bombs. You know, like Altuve did his thing. So I think this was just all about George Kirby. Forget the 92. We're going to talk about how we got there and why all this happened. I get that. This is Sports Talk Radio. We have to do it. But me, I'm just looking at George Kirby and I'm saying, just get out healthy. Feel your timing. He had a couple of good moments. And the show must go on. But, yeah, it was a tough one to listen to. I didn't watch it. I watched the highlights afterwards, but I listened to it. And it was a tough listen.
I still can't believe you guys are blaming me for George Kirby just plunking Pena on the first pitch when that's simply, I mean, he did do that twice, but it's just a guy brushing off rust. He didn't have a spring training. This is basically like a 4th or 5th start for him.
You put us on no-hitter watch, Stacy.
I did not, Matt. You wrote that down and I read it.
No,
you tricked
Stacy
me.
writes
That
all
was
the
a
stuff.
trap.
I don't know
That
what
was
you're
a
talking
trap.
about.
I didn't put us on no-hitter watch. First of all, you guys know that my stance with baseball games is that every game starts with a no-hitter. And it's just the no-hitter banner should be on in the first inning, and it goes away when you give up the first hit. That's, I think, how it should go. It makes it fun, and I like leading with positivity, okay? But I also think that we could have expected that George Kirby would have a very up-and-down outing.
Yeah.
And I am far more, even though obviously it's 9-2, you give up a ton of runs, I'm a little more concerned with how quiet the bats got after the early innings against a Lance McCullers that's simply not who we used to be.
No, and, it started off great, right? Demo goes yard. You're feeling good about the situation. But also, when you get the news that Julio's not going to be in the lineup, you start to question whether they can get this done. Because Julio, his presence does something. I don't know if you've never played on a team sport, even if it's an individual sport like swimming or whatnot. If your best swimmer ain't out there, Stacy, you're like, yeah, no chance we're winning this meet.
No, that's me.
When Stacy wasn't out there, where'd you
They
go
had no
to?
chance.
What high school you go to? Tyee High School. They're like, no chance of getting that brown ribbon today. Stacy's not in.
Okay, first of all, that was an individual brown ribbon.
When Julio's not in the lineup, you just lose some type of juice. And these are professionals. They're never going to come out and say, oh, we didn't have one of our guys. We weren't feeling it today. They're not going to say that. I mean, they shouldn't say that. They are professionals. But that does something to your team. And then you're going up against the Astros, who always play good against you for some reason. And games like this are going to happen. So it's not great. You don't feel good about it. But I think you also understand the situation. Kirby's on the mound for the first time. Julio's not in the game. And, you're going to lose games like this sometimes.
All right, let's get to some sound from Dan Wilson, also some updates from George Kirby. Dan Wilson with Julio and Brian Wu, who was hit by a foul ball in the game.
Yeah, Julio just with some back tightness, just a day-to-day thing. So, and then Brian Wu, the foul ball came in the dugout and got, I think it was a bruise on his lower leg, but I think, he was up and around, walking around, so he should be fine.
I consider that good news, frankly. You're welcome. You're welcome. It wasn't worse for Julio or Brian.
Yeah, that is good news. When I heard Shannon drop the bomb on us, I'm like, oh, dang. Julio, just have it be something minor. And then with Wu, again, I was listening to the game. I didn't see it. And I'm listening to Gary and Riz describe what's going on. I finally went back and watched the highlight of it. I was concerned. And you texted the group. You're like, your ace right now is hurt. And then the first thing I thought about texting back to you was, you did this to him as well. But I didn't want to do that to you.
Rude.
I didn't want to do that.
You know what?
I didn't want to put that on you.
I did take credit, though, as much the entire time I was texting you and Curtis in our thread, and I was like, I'm not responsible for this. I've done nothing. But then the second that Moore hit the home run early, I was like, I did this.
Yeah.
This was me.
Yeah.
This was my doing. I am a baseball god. But no, I still don't believe in jinxes, and I'll stand by that. I have had people asking me to jinx Jose Altuve. I just need to figure out the logic of how that works. Do I say that he's going to hit a bomb and then he doesn't? Or do I say that he's not going to get a hit today and then he does?
I think you have to go.
You guys need to explain the
Well, how do you
science
do
of your
this?
fake jinxes.
Jinxes for me is all in the moment.
See, if you guys don't have a rule,
all in the
science has
moment.
rules. Science has rules. This is why jinxes
I
don't
think
mean
blanket
anything
just
to me.
don't speak on it. If you don't say anything, nothing bad will happen.
I didn't say anything about Jose Altuve, my fellow petite star yesterday, and he ended up getting 2 bombs. So clearly I need to say something about Jose Altuve. I need to account for something. but I don't know how to do this.
You tell him he's going to have a great game.
Okay, he's going to have a great game.
There you go.
He's going to hit 2 more home runs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how you do it.
I love that for us.
Yep.
Me and Jose.
You and Jose. The petites.
Let's get to let's hear from George Kirby a little bit, how it felt getting back out there.
Yeah, super excited. You probably could have told by that first pitch, a little sporadic, but yeah, it felt great to be back out there. My body feels good. Yeah, just didn't go the way I wanted to tonight, but it's a great step in just being back with the boys, being with the team. And yeah, just got to do my job next time.
I think it's an important thing, and granted, we're going to get to this a little bit at 10:30, so I don't want to necessarily spoil it. But I think it's good to get out there and struggle a little bit, right? You're not going to be polished making your first start of the season.
You got to feel the game, whether it's positive and negative. When I played, I remember my very first varsity football game. We played St. Bernard's over there in California, and I was so nervous. My first start on varsity, I was a sophomore, and my coach says, look, you go out there and we're going to run the ball the very first play. You go out there and just hit somebody as hard as you can. I don't even care if it's not your assignment, just so you can feel the game and shake off the nerves. Kirby literally hit somebody, right? Shake it off, get your nerves all set and ready to go, and just get back into the mentality of playing a game at a high level. That's what this was about for George Kirby. Yes, he only went 3. Yes, he gave up 6 hits, 5 earned, only 4 Ks, and walked a guy. But now he's reassuring himself, like, okay, I can do this. My arm is good. My body is good. My mind's going to be fine. I can do this. If you listen to that soundbite we just had, he doesn't seem concerned.
No.
He doesn't seem concerned because he realized there's a process to this, and I think the Mariners realized that too. I don't think anyone on that staff thought Kirby was going to go out there and look like the Kirby we saw last year. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes it does. Sometimes guys are just able to hop back in and do their thing. But look, you're going up against a professional baseball team. Yeah. You had no spring training. This is the first time you're in a real game type situation. I expected him to struggle. Again, I just wanted him to get out healthy and just get your confidence back. He got out healthy. It sounds like he's still confident. Yes, you lost 9-2, but this is all part of the process of getting him back in the groove.
Okay, this is not related to a jinx. We're done talking about jinxes, but can I just say an observation that I don't think will lead to anything, that I think is just reflective of something we're quietly seeing?
Oh, she's about to drop a jinx.
No, I'm not. I'm a little concerned about Jorge Polanco.
Yeah.
He has started out the season on such a heater that we all knew that there would be regression, and that doesn't have to be bad. By that, I mean regression to, hitting 280 or something. Like that was the regression that we could see. But I am a little bit concerned about what we've seen. I mean, he's, 3 for 22 over the last 7 with an RBI, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 136, 240, 136. I wonder if that oblique injury is in any way. He's obviously being used as a DH. He's getting a chance to, at least rest that sometimes. But I just wonder if you rest him for a bit. I don't know if that means an IL stint, but there has been a regression that's a little quicker than I expected.
Yeah. No, we knew this was going to happen, but probably not at this rate. He's 9 for his last 54. This month, his slash is 167, 250, 259, OPS 509. That's the guy we saw last year, right? This month, that's the guy we saw last year. His last 3 games, he has not recorded a hit. He's gotten on base 1 time, and in the last 2 games, he's struck out 4 times. That's not the guy that we saw at the beginning of the year. This is the guy we saw last year. Listen, things like this happen. I'm not ready to panic on Polanco, but I am, like you said, observing what's going on and saying someone else has to step up. So when you have a situation where Polanco's not looking like the guy he was, Julio's not in the lineup, Kirby's making his first start of the year, this was bound to happen. So we have to keep an eye on him. We have to monitor him, just like we have to do all these guys. But if he's going to regress like this, that means someone else has to step up. And typically throughout the season, we've seen other guys step up in these moments. And it's going to have to happen now. I don't expect a 9-2 type of game today.
No. I'm kind of watching to see if they do anything with Polanco, maybe give him a couple days rest, a game off, potentially an IL stint. And I'm not saying he needs that. He's been playing through an oblique injury, but I'm just wondering with that. There's also this attitude of if he's still technically one of our better hitters, even though he's not as hot right now, why would we take him out of a lineup where we've already had to replace a ton of dudes? You know what I mean? Like, you've still got Solano out here. So you still got to figure some stuff out.
Why are you saying his name is a jinx at this point?
Well, you have to do something at first.
You do.
And I know there are a lot of people that didn't love him pinch hitting for Rowdy, and just in general are like, why is this happening? And I think it's always distasteful to call for anyone's job, but I also think it's very fair to question, what's he contributing to the roster? Why is he here? You know, are you holding out until you bring someone else up? What's going on here? I'm not entirely sure why, because he's not contributing.
Those are one of the moves that make us question what Dan Wilson is thinking, because Tellez was having a decent day. Drove in a run, 2 hits. He was having a decent day. So obviously there are matchup situations, right? They're looking at data and they're making moves like that. But sometimes just go with what's working. Go with the bat that's been producing. Solano has done absolutely nothing this year.
Yeah.
Not disrespecting the man. I'm just critiquing his play. That's always the hardest part for me as an analyst, being a former athlete, is like,
but you're not wrong.
I gotta keep it real about Solano, because as a baseball player, he's not producing.
No.
And I don't know what value he brings to the team at this point, because I'm not in the clubhouse. Obviously, he might be a leader, talking to guys, being a coach amongst the players, but I would have kept Tellez in that thing and let him swing away.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have taken a 2-game lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. What's the real headline?
The Thunder are going to get this done, I fear.
Yeah, I think they are. And it's up. I saw a comparison to Anthony Edwards that really hurt me.
What?
Someone tweeted that Anthony Edwards is on the cusp of having a Damian Lillard type of career, to where you're good enough, you'll knock a few guys off the playoffs,
some iconic
but you're not able to get to the mountaintop and be that guy. It's early in his career to say that, but he's trending in that direction. But this is more about SGA and him letting everybody know that I'm that guy dropping 38. Yesterday I said Chet Holmgren's going to have to show up and drop 20. He dropped 22 the other day. Chet looking like he could be the Robin to the Batman. Yeah, I think this is a wrap. You win 2 games to start. I believe your chances of winning the series go up to like 80-something%. I think Oklahoma is going to get it done. Unfortunately, it's going to take a miracle by the Timberwolves. If they can take care of home and win these next 2, then you have a shot. But still, man, home court advantage is real, and Oklahoma City got that.
My question about Anthony Edwards is one of the things that also went along with any conversation about Dame was always like, well, he also doesn't have enough around him, right? Like, you can only be so much of a star. I know people have looked at Giannis and been like, well, he didn't have, but I don't know that you can fully make that argument either. Like, I'm
Giannis
not a
is
huge...
just...
Well, to your point, you're probably going to say he's just a different kind of star.
Yeah.
But like with Anthony Edwards, does he have enough around him?
No. I mean, he has enough to get to this point. I think that maybe he's missing a piece or two. It didn't help that Julius Randle didn't have one of his typical type of games. Only had 6 points from Randle. Like, you need Randle to play big. You did have Jaden McDaniels, big up Federal Way High School, dropping 22. But it's different when you have a guy in the paint being physical. When you have your perimeter players kind of leading the charge, which that's what the NBA is a lot of the perimeter. But you get into the playoffs, it's almost like, you know how when they say in the NFL, you get to the playoffs, you got to be able to run the football, right? When you get to the playoffs in the NBA, you got to be able to get in the paint and play physical ball. Julius Randle is that for this team, and he just didn't show up yesterday. 2 for 11.
Headline rewrites.
The College Football Playoff Committee has made some seeding changes for the 2025 season. What's the real headline?
Apologies to the best Mountain West team and also Arizona State.
Yeah.
That's really who this is going to affect. I know that we're all trying to do the math and figure out how, and we're going to have a story on it a bit later explaining the straight seeding and kind of ESPN has a great simulation of like what the 2024 playoffs would have looked like. All you need to know in summary is this is just going to affect a school like Boise State.
Yeah, and honestly, it's fair. We knew that Boise State had a great year last year. You got Ashton Genty, one of the best running backs we've seen in a while. But we knew that they didn't deserve a bye. But this is big ups to NCAA for trying to correct this immediately and not waiting a couple seasons and trying to figure out. Look, you go through the process. They were the guinea pigs. We see what happened. We know who deserved a bye, who didn't deserve a bye. I love this. Just reseed them once they get into the playoffs and let's go. But you win your conference championship, you should be in. Now let the powers that be kind of get these guys in order, because I think even the common NCAA football fan would have done things a bit differently last year.
Headline rewrites.
The 8-42 Colorado Rockies are off to the worst 50-game start since 1895. What's the real headline?
Pre-Spanish flu levels of failure is honestly just impressive. Like anything happens. I'm not just talking Great Depression. When you're talking about pre-1900, like the Titanic was not being built, or maybe it just wasn't finished. Like that's how bad you are. You're pre-Titanic here.
I don't think I've ever played on a team to where we walked on the field and felt like we really don't have a chance. Like you're literally just going through the motions. Now I played on a 4-12 Seattle Seahawks team, but we still felt like we had a chance in some of these games, right? The Colorado Rockies, could you imagine being in that dugout, being in the clubhouse, being the manager, being the president, and you know you really don't stand a chance every time you're out there. You need a lot of things to go your way. That has to be rough. The only thing saving the players on this team is that check is going to clear every couple of weeks.
That's still crazy, though. Like this current Mariners road trip in which they're 5-2, over half the wins you'd have as a Rockies team would have been just this Mariners road trip.
Man, that's depressing. You start to question life if you're on that Colorado Rockies
you're talking
team.
Broncos?
Man.
You know what I mean? you're looking way ahead when that's the case. I know that a lot of baseball fans and baseball historians are like, so what's the pace with the Cleveland Spiders? Yes, they are on pace to break a pretty historic losing record. We'll talk about that in the timeline. I don't know enough about the Colorado Rockies to know everything that's going wrong, other than they're just a very bad team that's not executing. When you're that bad, I don't even think it's like, they got to figure out first base.
Yeah. They got to figure out everything.
What's the problem with the Rockies? All of it.
Everything.
Every answer. A through D.
All the above.
All of the above. That's the problem with the Rockies. Okay. We have a fairly Mariners heavy first hour, although our next conversation is going to talk about not just the Mariners, but also a little bit about the Seahawks. And it's a conversation I can't wait to have. One of the critiques that I think you and I sometimes see, and on its face, it's a fair one, is, God, sometimes I hate getting to the playoffs when you just know your team isn't good enough. You know, you'd almost hope for like better draft positioning or better draft odds if it's a lottery or whatever it is. However, there's something so important that you develop when, even as a bad team or a struggling team or a deeply flawed team, you make it to the postseason. The Mariners and the Seahawks need to develop that. It's coming up next.
The Astros take the opening game of this 4-game series. And man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms, that's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place M's look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And if you love animals, you're part of our world. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
Memorial Day weekend. You know what that means.
No work on Monday.
And the start of the summer season.
With all the summer sales this weekend. Look at all these ads.
I know, but there is one store we really should visit.
Why?
To check out the new TVs from Samsung and LG and Sony.
Aren't those expensive?
Not this weekend. Video Only has huge deals on the new models and even trade-in discounts.
What about online or the warehouse clubs?
We can do better at Video Only. They've got the lowest prices of the year on the new TVs, including all the top-rated models.
Okay, let's check them out. Or
we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or dishwashers, but you will find the best deals on the best TVs, soundbars, and home theater systems. Shop around, but then make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma. Video Only.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
This Memorial Day weekend, while celebrating with friends and loved ones, take a few moments to remember the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice. Reverently celebrating Memorial Day with you. We are Seattle Sports on 710.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Live MMA takes over Muckleshoot Event Center Saturday, May 24th. Witness the heart-pounding action as the fiercest fighters step into the cage for an unforgettable night of stunning knockouts, merciless submissions, and pure adrenaline. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MuckleshootCasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Stacy talking about how bad the Rockies are will make them start winning. Watch them. When's their next game? Is there one today? Watch them get a win today. And it's like against the Dodgers.
Go get it, Rockies. Got nothing to lose.
Okay, let's go for win number 9. Get into double digits.
They play the Yankees today.
Go get them.
Let me tell you what.
Go get them. At home or away?
At home.
All right. See, home field advantage. Home field advantage. That's all they need.
Home field advantage. You talked about how important losing can be, Bump. And you weren't saying this purely as this kind of silver lining thing, but because it was making you think on a broader scale about building what you call a championship callous. What's a championship callous?
Champions understand that nothing lasts forever, right? The highs and the lows. And when you have these lows, you got to figure, what did it say? grab your bootstraps and go
Pull
back to
yourself
where.
up by your bootstraps.
Thank you. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? That's exactly what champions do. They don't let the wins influence them in a way that they think they're invincible, but they also don't let the losses determine who they are for the rest of the season, right? You got to understand that there are ups and downs when it comes to a season. So that's why I'm so interested to see how these guys respond today, because Polanco isn't playing well. Julio is banged up. Kirby didn't look good his first start. And you got whooped by divisional rivals, the Astros, who seem to win this dang division every single year. But you've also swept the Padres. You also won a game against the Yankees. Like, you've had good enough moments to where you can convince yourself that you're a good ball club. Does a 9-2 loss get into these guys' heads so much that to where it just snowballs and you lose another one and you lose another one? That's how you build championship callous, right? You go through these moments and you say, we know who we are. This is just a bad game. He had a bad day. I mean, I have bad days at work. Sometimes I've left this show before and be like, dang, bum, you didn't do your thing today. It was just a rough day, right? I still got to show up tomorrow with the same energy and say, let's go. I believe in myself. So that's exactly what I'm looking for here, is just these are the moments where you build that championship callous, where you understand that you're good enough to get yourself out of a 9-2 loss.
That's a really good point. I think about it too as like applying it to an everyday life. Like, you don't know that you can work your way through something until you've done it. And there are plenty of people in life that have never really had to struggle, but most people have with something, right? And not everyone considers everyone else's struggle a true struggle, but every single person has had to mold and shape themselves through trials and tribulations.
Right.
Super normal. Maybe, you know, it could be something as you didn't get into a college that you wanted, so you had to work your way through some other avenue. It could be that you went to college but just really struggled. It could be a job that was a nightmare when you started, and then whatever it is. It could be health things, family things, whatever. And that same thing applies to culture, like to a broader scale. Like, take that same thing that works for one person and apply it to a group of people. If you learn, we get through this horrible stretch, but we did it together and we ended up on the other side, then those losses don't faze you as much. And I'm glad you mentioned the Astros and the way they always seem to win, because I'm sure they kind of have that feeling of like, even when they're clearly not as good a team, they are fundamentally not the same team that they were when they were at their peak. I'm sure they still look in there and go, we're going to win the division.
They got that callous. They've done it for a decade. You know what I mean? They've shown. And when you have that, guys come into your organization and they automatically have it because they look at the history of the organization. They look at some of the veterans that remain from the teams of the past who've had success, and you buy into it. It's a mentality. And the Astros have that. The Yankees have that. The Dodgers have that. I mean, it comes with time, and it comes with the roster building, right, and the personnel or whatnot. So this is a pivotal part for the Mariners. Can you climb out of a 9-2 loss? And then we've seen them do it before. You got what a 9-1 by Toronto, then 11-5 by the Yankees, and then you win a close one, you lose a close one, then you go on a run, right? That right there is something that, even if it's not recognized towards the end of the season, internally it built something inside these guys. It built that callous, right? It's not as thick as the Yankees or the Astros at this point, but it's something you have to go through throughout a season to really figure out who you are and show yourself, the fans, the organization, that you're good enough to bounce back. So I'm hoping we see that today.
The 206, it's one game of 162. They just need to focus on winning the series. And you're exactly right. The reason, though, that I loved this point and I love this conversation is I like personally applying it to playoff appearances by incomplete teams. And one of my personal pet peeves, though I understand the argument, is when your team is flawed but makes the playoffs and you feel like, what's the point? I'd rather them not make it and then get a better draft pick. I saw that conversation. I hate that too. And I saw it so much with the Seahawks last year. And I understand it in theory, but I also think it's so hugely important to still get that experience and then fail, but feel like you were good enough to get to the playoffs. And you never want to get to a point where you have a Seahawks player who's gone through the entirety of his rookie contract without making the playoffs.
Yeah, because then you don't. Just like we were talking about George Kirby just getting back into the game and feeling it, right? You need your players to feel what it's like to have that success and be in the playoffs because it just hits different. It hits different when you're in the playoffs, right? And there's a different type of pressure. There's a different type of energy, different type of expectation. There are a few guys who've been to the playoffs on this roster, right? We made it a couple years ago with Julio and Cal and all those guys. They feel it. So it's all part of the process. It's like watching a plant grow over, a week or two, right? I used to love that. When I was in elementary school, you plant your seed, and every day you're checking on it, you're watching it grow, you're nurturing, you're taking care of it. And there's a time where that plant looks like, I ain't got enough water. I got to water. You got to help you out.
But you can't overwater.
You can't overwater it. Exactly. So that's what this season is for these guys, because they're so young and inexperienced. We're watching this plant grow. And after yesterday, that plant is dehydrated. It needs some water. What are you going to do to bounce back? That doesn't mean that they have to come out and just have an explosion when it comes to offense. It's just, all right, let's be competitive again, because yesterday wasn't good. And we all know some of the factors that contributed to them not playing well yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not excuses. It's just how the game goes. Kirby wasn't on point. Julio wasn't out there. Polanco wasn't who he normally is. And, things happen. It's one game out of, 162. But if it happens over and over and over again, you go on a skid, that's where you get a bit worried.
Totally. And again, not to cycle back too much and talk in circles here, but if they were to make the playoffs, I think we all kind of know that not only are there several teams in the National League that are better, but that there are two teams in particular in the American League that are better right now. So you can kind of get a feeling that even if they stayed at exactly this pace, you'd go, well, they're not a World Series team. But that's okay. You're never, ever looking an opportunity to, find success in the postseason down or whatever. Someone said, Adam in the 206, please cut that bootstrap audio. Then he said, was giving grab the bull by the hands vibe, which I also feel important to reiterate is not me.
That's Stacy.
No, it's not. It's not me. And
how's the saying go?
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Okay, yeah.
I thought that is how it goes, right?
Is it?
That's the saying.
Yeah.
I forget what
did
you
I
said.
say? Pull up your bootstraps and
Matt
go to
will
work and
find
put your cap on and bring your lunch pail.
Okay, that's a very long explanation of it. I'm not exactly sure what you said. We'll
I just
have to
mixed
go
up
back
like
and
3 of them
listen.
things in there.
I know. I liked the conversation. I like a way to, someone said it does sound like you. It's not me. I like a way to look at a loss and look at a disappointing game and just go, well, got to get out there and just, they all know what it's like to lose, but if you don't struggle a little bit, you don't figure out how to work through struggle.
Yeah, you still got to show up to work, baby. Like, come on, let's go get it. You guys are a good ball club at this point of the season. Like, don't let one loss kind of derail what's going on. When they lost to the Yankees by a bunch, I think we just all expected it. Like, it's the Yankees, so you're going to lose that game. With this one, people came in a bit optimistic because we know the bats haven't been hot for the Astros. We know the pitching hasn't been on point. So your expectations were a bit different. But sometimes teams just get hot. Like Altuve had the game of the year for him. 2 bombs. Like, my man had a game. So I ain't tripping. I ain't worried.
I'm honestly looking more at the top of the Mariners lineup than I am at, which sounds ridiculous, but than I am at a team that gave up 9 runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I am a little concerned about, like, what's going to happen with Polanco. I'm not really concerned about Crawford, though it wasn't, like, the best day ever for some of those guys, but I don't know. We'll see what today brings.
The middle of your lineup was okay yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, the middle was okay.
Yeah.
The bottom struggled, the top struggled. Hopefully Julio feels better. I'm not expecting him to play today, so that gives an opportunity for someone else to step up.
The Mariners have to keep their foot on the gas. We'll talk about how quickly you can adapt in a weird AL next.
The Astros take the opening game, 4-game series, and man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms, that's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place Ams look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here and it's time to make some changes. I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to 1 pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Roland Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds. My only regret is not starting sooner.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
I know you want one of the new top-rated TVs.
And a low price.
We can get a top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony TV at a better deal than you found on the internet.
No way. Where?
At Video Only. This weekend, they've got special 3-day-only prices on all those top TVs.
Video Only can beat all these deals I've found?
That's right. This weekend, Video Only's got great deals on the best TVs. So let's check them out, or...
We'll be sorry.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Tim Booth of the Seattle Times joining us in 15 minutes. We're going to obviously talk Mariners with Tim, take a look ahead at the rest of this 4-game series, 3 remaining against the Astros. They got to keep their foot on the gas, the Mariners do. You got to adapt quickly in a weird American league. So, Bump, I've got some listener questions about things people want to see this team do or maybe things they should do. And then we're going to talk about that importance of urgency, that even though it's May 23rd, this is a team that's missed the playoffs by a handful of games more often than not. All of these wins matter. So if something isn't working, how soon do you fix it? How soon can you find a solution? Serious question for you guys, says one listener. How much longer can the Mariners really carry Donnie Double Play? He's talking about Donovan Solano and infield pop-up Garver.
Gosh.
Well, you're not going to move on from Garver as your backup catcher. You absolutely need him.
Yeah, you need him. Harry ain't ready yet.
Are you guys laughing at Donnie Double Play?
I can't get over Donnie Double
That's
Play.
A good
That's
nickname.
a great one.
That's pretty good and disrespectful at the same time.
He certainly is.
How long? I mean, it's because of injuries, I think. Little Donnie's out there, right?
Get Rayleigh back.
Once you get Rayleigh back, you should be okay in that department. But what else are you going to do at this point? There's no position play that you're going to call up from the minors at this point. We're waiting to see, was it Cole Young? Cole Young is a name that we keep hearing.
Or Locklear, yeah.
Or Locklear is a name that we hear. We've seen Locklear before. He had a couple moments there. But no, at this point, you've gotten this far with this squad. I don't think they're ready to hit the panic button and say, let's get Donnie out of there. I think you just have to roll with the punches at this point. And like you mentioned, Mitch is your backup catcher. Harry's not ready to play yet. Yeah. So you got to roll with it. The closer you get to the deadline, I think the more urgent moves become. But at this point, as much as we don't like when we see Donnie in the batter's box or on the field, you just got to roll with it.
Yeah, I think that what's at play is that while there is theoretically an option with Tyler Locklear, the assumption that a player, an active MLB player who's struggling, that gap isn't still very vast between a player and the minors, I think is the wrong assumption to make. Sometimes you see guys come up and they start hot and then, the league adjusts and they have to find a way to work it out. We've heard Ryan Rowland-Smith talk about that with Ben Williamson, who's still working through how to adjust to the league after a pretty nice start. I just think that we sometimes assume, take this minor league player and plug him in, especially if he's had a stint before, and it's going to work. And it's like the pitching is worlds different when you get to the bigs. And so you cannot assume that just because you don't like the big league product, that a player from the minors is going to immediately improve it. Usually that's not the case. Also, you mentioned Luke Rayleigh, and I think that's the right call, that I'm assuming when Rayleigh is activated again and back here, then they feel more comfortable moving on. I think what I'd like to see instead is, why are we pinch hitting at any point Donovan Solano?
He shouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
You should not.
I understand why he's there.
Yeah.
But why give him more at-bats over guys that are at the very least getting, have home run potential?
This is what I think Dan Wilson is thinking.
Okay.
Danny's been in that situation plenty of times. He's 35, 36 years old. He's an 80s baby. He's been in this situation before. He's going to have a good at-bat. He's going to be patient. He is going to work the count. That's what I think Dan is thinking. And we all know that Dan goes off the impulse at times. He's not a data guy. At least it appears that he's not a data guy, or you would not have made that move. You're going off experience in that moment. At some point, though, you just have to take a player for who he is at this point. And Solano has not shown you, at least me, enough to take out even a Tellez, who had a couple hits, who drove in a run, and say, all right, let's put the experienced veteran in. Tellez is a vet, too. Tellez had 30 bombs one year. So we always have a lot of questions when he makes moves and it doesn't work out. But there's a method to his madness, right? He has his own logic to the situation. But at this point, at some point, you stop believing in a guy. When I coached, man, at the beginning of the year, summertime workouts, everybody got a chance. Yeah. All right, guys, we're starting square one. We're starting from here. Everybody has an opportunity. But as you go through the summer, you get into training camp, you go through week 2, week 3, week 4, you start to identify who you can count on and who you can't count on. You are, a quarter of a way through the season, a little over a quarter way through the season. All right, at some point, you start to develop a mindset and say, I can depend on this guy in this situation. I can't depend on this guy in that situation. And I think I'm getting to the point with Solano to where there's just no faith in him at this point. Yeah. Now, he could have came through clutching that in that situation, and I still wouldn't have believed in him that much because you got to do it day after day after day after day, and he's not doing that. So my question for Dan is, what exactly were you thinking in that moment, in that situation, when Tellez is having himself a decent day?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going off vibes. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, that's how I feel about Donovan Solano. In sum, is how Bum feels, which is, look, we get why he's here still, but why getting extra at bats that you don't necessarily need to be giving?
Why are you creating
I think we've kind of established by now that there may not be any more water left in that sponge that you were trying to wring out. But I don't know. What do I know? In terms of keeping your foot on the gas and being aggressive, I always think of trade deadline moves and kind of continuing to add. Unfortunately, the Mariners could stand to add, and I don't know how many teams are willing to trade. It's May 23rd.
Early. It's too early for that.
So this is kind of where I'm like, okay, I can't wait to have trade deadline conversations, and they have to keep doing things, and they have to stay aggressive. I guess all I want to see is a sense of urgency with this team pretty routinely. If someone's not performing, then there's some kind of consequence, or there's some kind of move, or someone else gets chances, right, within reason. If someone is performing and they're doing a great job, then great, they get a few more opportunities. I just want to see a little more aggression from this team in terms of taking advantage of, you are third place in the American League, not your division. You're third place in the American League with the Tigers, who have very clearly separated themselves, and the Yankees as the only 2 teams ahead of you. This is a down year for your division, for the league. Do not take your foot off the gas and just go, what are you going to do? We'll just coast on this lead we have.
Yeah, and the identity of ball games, too, I think, create situations like that to where you're more willing to give someone an opportunity when you're getting whooped, when you're getting spanked by a team, right? 9-2, I mean, it changes everything. When you go down to 5-1 or something like that, 5-2, and you get deeper into the game, it changes your decision-making as well. In close games, in a closer game, I don't think Dan makes decisions like that. But in a game to where you feel like a miracle would have to happen, you're more likely to do stuff like that. And also, look, you're third in the league. Quietly, Angels have won 8 of their last 10. The Astros have won 6 of their last 10. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there with a 10-game lead like last year and you're feeling good and you can roll the dice a little bit. It is tight. So, yes, I'm with you 100%. I don't understand some of the decisions that have been made, especially yesterday in that situation. But the most important thing is that you treat this like it is a sprint to the finish. Even though you are only a quarter of a way through the season, it's tight in your division. You're in a good position in your league. No time to experiment at this point.
Well, and this is how fans talk about their team. Someone texted in saying, for crying out loud, they're in first place. Show respect. Quit turning over rocks. While I can respect the way that this fan watches the game, which is to say I just kind of enjoy the ride, it is hard for me personally as a fan, and I know that there are some listeners who feel this way, not to go, okay, what's next? What else can you do? What else can you do? And I think that that's also a very normal way that fans watch sports, right? Like my sisters, I hate the Yankees, and let me say that. However, I can respect the way that they constantly apply pressure on that team. And my sister's boyfriend is a Yankees fan, and let me tell you what, if Aaron Judge went 0-4, they'd be shaking their head going, what are you doing, Aaron?
Yeah.
It's just like a natural way that some people fan.
It's a different culture out here in Seattle, right? I've been out here for 20 years now. It's just different. Even in LA, right? If the Dodgers ain't performing, ain't spending, like the streets are talking, they're booing people, they're applying pressure. I listen to radio in LA. It's just different. And I think that we're looking at the Mariners as this is an opportunity.
Yes, which is a positive way to look at it.
Yeah, you have an opportunity. So let's just make sure that you're taking full advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
Because we've seen this story too many times. We show them love. You're in first place. You're getting production from the bottom of the lineup. You've had some surprises. Polanco's had himself a good year so far. This month of May has been kind of rude to him. But no, it's healthy to put pressure on a team. And we will apply pressure to them because we want them to have success. That's why you apply the pressure.
The Seattle Mariners return home to T-Mobile Park Tuesday, May 27th. This is going to begin a 9-game homestand featuring visits from the Nationals, Twins, and the Orioles. What a weird season for Baltimore. Fans can look forward to three days of Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaways. If you're watching on the stream, we'll have it on the desk and we'll kind of move it over. You can lift up the little bobblehead so that people could see it. And this is one of the giveaways. There's also K-pop fireworks tonight, Bark in the Park, which I'm so excited about, Pride Month, and Mariners value games. Fans can purchase tickets for all games during the homestand at mariners.com/tickets. Look at Randy. He's staring at you, telling you to get out there to that 9-game homestand.
He looked like my cousin, low-key, though.
Tim Booth coming up next.
The Astros take the opening game, 4-game series. And man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms, that's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place Ams look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Dave Wyman here with an incredibly special guest, the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy's a proud Seattle sports listener and recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish cyberknife. Andy, tell us about your treatment.
The entire treatment was just 5 days, less than an hour a day. I spent more time commuting to the appointment than actually being in treatment.
Any side effects during or after?
I've had very few side effects. I've been very lucky to not have some of the side effects that I was worried about with other treatments.
What would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife, and I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thank you, Andy, and congratulations. Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly. You don't even need a referral. Go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
I know you want one of the new top-rated TVs.
And a low price.
We can get a top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony TV at a better deal than you found on the internet.
No way. Where?
At Video Only. This weekend, they've got special 3-day-only prices on all those top TVs.
Video Only can beat all these deals I've found?
That's right. This weekend, Video Only's got great deals on the best TVs. So let's check them out, or...
We'll be sorry.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Bad news is the Mariners dropped their first of a 4-game series against the Astros yesterday. Good news is George Kirby left the game healthy, and also you get 3 more chances. Next up, Game 2 today, 5:10 p.m. Emerson Hancock on the mound.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Seattle Times' Tim Booth joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Tim, I wish you were joining us after a win, but this is still a first-place team with 3 more games against Houston. We will start with a quick look back at last night's loss. The big thing sticking with you after this one.
I think you got to be really encouraged by what you saw, just kind of the raw performance from George Kirby. Not that there was a whole lot of concern that he wasn't going to look like himself, but when he's out there, throwing it up there at 99 in the early innings, that's a really good sign that shoulder is feeling really good at this point, considering the rehab that he went through and missing essentially the first 2 months of the season. There's going to be some things with kind of refinement, and he talked about, after the game, execution, kind of finishing guys off when he had 2 strikes. That was something that he struggled with a little bit last night, but that's something that I think is going to come with time, with getting, a better feel for being back out on a major league mound and facing major league hitters and not the guys in Tacoma and Albuquerque and the other places that he's pitched during his rehab. So I think as disappointing as probably the final, performance was overall last night, I think you probably are encouraged by what you saw early on, especially from George.
Tim, how crucial is it, or how long do you think these guys can survive if there is a stint where Julio isn't able to go? He's got some back stiffness. I know we're older gentlemen. We understand the back situation. How do you think they survive if Julio's not able to go for a week or so?
It's funny, Bump. I was thinking about this earlier, and when you get to a certain age and you're out doing yard work or picking weeds or something like that, and then you get up and about an hour later you're like, God, my back doesn't feel great. That's kind of how Julio looked walking in the clubhouse last night, because he went through batting practice and everything seemed fine, and then all of a sudden they're announcing that he's out of the game. So I'm curious to see kind of how they progress from here. Do they just decide, okay, let's shut him down for 10 days and just make sure that this is.
Oh, let's see if we can go ahead and hang up and get reconnected with Tim, and we'll start with a similar question once we get him back on the line.
You've never had that happen to you. You're so young. Your back?
Oh, that's not
Your back
true.
has never hurt.
Well, no, not my back, but definitely my hip before. I'm just now starting to notice, like, oh, why when I'm walking? Tim, we're going to go ahead and let you continue with the same question since you got cut off. You were noticing in joking that Julio was walking the way a much older man would after a tough day of working in the yard.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see how they move forward. Do they decide, let's shut him down for 10 days and get it taken care of, or is it just kind of really a day-to-day thing? Julio doesn't have the greatest numbers so far this year, but they're numbers that when you look a little deeper about, expected batting average and his exit velocity and his strikeout rate being down, even though the raw batting average and home runs are probably not where everyone would like them to be, he's crucially important to this lineup. So if it's another day, if it's another 2 days, if it's 10 days, whatever it ends up being that he is out of the lineup, that's still a big blow for, a lineup that has at times relied on a lot of different pieces this year to find success, but ultimately needs Julio in there as an anchor for it.
I'm trying to figure out right now Jorge Polanco. When no one was expecting him to stay as hot as he was to start the year, but I think I'm finding my own expectations have changed a little bit, kind of wondering if he's not dealing with a knee injury, is he just going to be a better Jorge Polanco than I was expecting? Obviously, we're seeing regression now. Is this regression to just a normal level and I'm jumping a gun, or is this regression because that oblique injury might be flaring up and they might need to rest him too?
I think it's a really good question because you're right. There's a certain regression to the mean that was naturally going to happen. He wasn't going to stay that hot as he was to start the season. I think it's really notable that there's been some situations in the last week where he could have gone up as a right-handed batter, and they have not done that. So it makes me wonder if there's a little bit of a flare-up either with the side, the oblique, or he was also dealing with a little bit of a sore shoulder earlier in the season. So I'm curious if it's a two-part thing. If one, the league is figuring out a little bit more what's going on with him, why he was having so much success early on in the season, and we're seeing kind of a natural regression. But two, if maybe some of what was bothering him before is flaring up. He didn't look good at the plate last night. It was one of the few times so far this year you kind of look at him and go, he didn't look comfortable. He didn't look like he was seeing the ball well. It was the first time this season he struck out 3 times in a game. So I do think something is going on, but I don't know to the point of do they need to, kind of think similar with Julio. Do they need to sit him down for 10 days and get this taken care of? Or is this kind of a day-to-day thing that he's just going to have to work through?
How do you look at this 9-2 loss, Tim? We've been analyzing it. We're saying, look, this is part of the journey of any type of season, a baseball season, especially when you're playing 162. You got Kirby on the mound for the first time. He hits a batter with his first pitch. Julio's not in the game. We described it as like building championship callous. Like you got to learn to bounce back. Just your overall view of where this team is right now and how they bounce back from a 9-2 loss.
Well, I think number one, you're encouraged by what you saw from George. I think some of the frustrations from earlier in the year kind of popped back up last night, like they weren't very good with runners in scoring position. It was until you got to the bullpen, it was some of the guys in the Astros batting order you don't expect that were kind of doing the damage, like Mauricio Dubon was kind of the thorn in the side last night. And then obviously once you got to the bullpen, Jose Altuve did Jose Altuve things and reminded everyone how torturous he's been to the Mariners in his history. I think you're right, Bump. I think you just take it as one of those stick in games, and it's not very often you see a night like last night. They're going to happen. You just have to chalk it up to that and then just figure out a way to move forward and try and still get at least a couple of games out of this series. Because if you're able to get out of Houston splitting this 4-game series somehow, you've finished off a tremendous road trip, a really terrific road trip. If you're not able to, it puts a whole different sort of view on how this 10-game stint has gone.
Let's talk a little bit about Dan Wilson. I'm hoping you can help me kind of fill in the blanks of my picture of him as a manager. I obviously knew of Dan Wilson clearly, so I have that background. And then I met him at that media event, thought, oh, what a nice guy. And then I know that sometimes I question his managerial decisions. Sometimes I'm just kind of like still figuring out what's behind decision making. So those are like the three things I know to be true. It was like Dan Wilson, the Mariner, Dan Wilson, seemingly a super nice dude, and then Dan Wilson maybe still figuring it out. What are some of those blanks that you've been able to fill in so far covering his season, Tim? You know, how the club might feel about him, you know, kind of how he differs from service. You know, what else have you found?
Well, number one, you're right about all that. He is a super nice guy. He obviously has a great history with the franchise. A couple things that have stood out to me is he's very protective of his players, and obviously I think that comes from being a former player himself. But it's protective publicly. Like he's very rare to get to the point where he's going to openly criticize a player to the media or in any sort of public realm. But he has a way of holding these guys accountable, which I think is what has led not only to, you know, beyond just the new managerial bump, the success that they had toward the end of last year, but the start that they've had this year is he's able to hold them accountable in a way that doesn't, you know, put them down in the public light. Like he's not out there bad mouthing guys, you know, when he's talking to us after games, but he might be in the clubhouse. He might be pulling a guy aside and say, hey, we need to be better here, or we need to do this better here, or you need to get your early work in, or you need to make sure you're getting your throwing done. And it's very subtle. He's not someone who's going to be loud or you know, never will he be angry about it, but he's just got that kind of sense about him of holding guys accountable in that way. The other thing about Dan is it's pretty clear he takes losing hard. Like there's been a lot of times this year, a number of their close losses that they've had where you can tell in some ways he's wearing it himself. And I think that just shows how much he cares. Now, that's something that a manager has to learn how to balance over a 162-game season so that you don't necessarily burn yourself out by the time you're getting to September, especially if you're in a close playoff race. But it's clear that he cares a lot about winning. He cares a lot about this group winning. He cares a lot about this franchise winning. And so I think that's one thing too. It's not something that you see a whole lot, but you can tell sometimes. Just like, yeah, he's really wearing this one, you know, hard tonight because of either a decision or a play or however the game might play out.
The bottom of the lineup for me has been fun to watch at times because you're getting production out of guys that you don't really expect, right? Ben Williamson has had his moments. Rivas is a guy that defensively he's been solid. He only had 49 at-bats, but his production has been on point. When you look at the bottom of the lineup, do you think that some of the play that they're getting is sustainable? And when you look across the league on when you compare like teams like the Mariners, right? Not the superstar teams, the payroll isn't crazy. Is there enough at the bottom of the lineup to keep getting these performances sporadically to keep this team competitive?
So they have to get that kind of production from the bottom of the lineup. Like if they're going to have success over the next 2/3 of the season, because we're almost at the 1/3 point now, tonight's going to be game 50. If they're going to have success, they've got to get contributions at the bottom of the lineup. You know, as good as Cal has been, you know, and as much as everyone's kind of expecting Julio is going to get hot this summer, and what we've seen from Randy at times and JP's hitting streak earlier, you still got to get contributions further down. You can't rely on 3 or 4 guys and hoping that 1 or 2 of them are hot at the same time to carry a lineup for an extended period. So you're going to need Ben Williamson to continue to pitch in at the plate here and there. You're going to need to continue to have, you know, Rowdy Tellez hitting a big homer here and there. You're going to need to have Dylan Moore coming up especially against left-handed pitching and doing what he's done throughout his career. The teams that are not to your point, Bump, the teams that are not payroll heavy, not the Yankees, the Mets, et cetera, the Dodgers, et cetera, those teams, if they're going to find success, they got to get contributions throughout the lineup. I think the Astros last night were a perfect example. They don't have Yordan Alvarez right now. They're missing the loss of Kyle Tucker to Chicago in the offseason, the loss of Alex Bregman to Boston in the offseason. But, it's guys like Cam Smith and it's guys like Mauricio Dubon, and it's those kind of guys who sort of came through last night for them. And they're a team that have been struggling offensively as well. So it's throughout baseball. The teams that don't have, essentially an all-star roster 1 through 9 in their everyday lineup, they've got to get those contributions from those guys 7, 8, 9 in the order if they're going to have success.
He is Tim Booth out in Houston for this series. 3 more between the Mariners and Astros. Read his work at seattletimes.com. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Mom.
See ya. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, why will the Tush Push soon no longer be part of football? What do you mean? It just survived the ban.
Right, just survived the ban, and there were 2 votes off for them really getting rid of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Roger Goodell's already talking about revisiting this subject next year in 2026. Like, give it 6 months before we start talking about this again. So what that tells me is that the more influential owners in the league are on Rodgers' head. Mm-hmm. Like the Jerry Joneses of the league are saying, look, we got to get rid of this dang Tush Push because it's ruining the game. That's what I feel like is going down. A little bit. That's what I feel like is going down. Because why only a week or 2 after, you took the vote and everything's all good, he's already coming out and talking about it, saying, look, we're going to look at more studies about the Tush Push. It's not that serious, man. It's studies.
He said we're going to make up studies.
What are you going to watch? Like 50 Tush Pushes and try to diagnose things and figure out why it isn't safe for the game? Football is not a safe sport regardless. Guys are going to get hurt. They're going to be concussed, going to tear ACLs, they're going to break a leg. It happens all the time. So look, they're trying to get rid of this thing, and it's the powers, right? The influential owners have the power, and they are applying pressure to Roger Goodell. In 2026, this thing is going to be gone.
Second down. Who will be the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year? Ooh, I have my guess.
What do you think of this?
Well, I want you to answer. It's your down.
Okay. So I'm looking at what's happening over there in the AFC West. And Pete Carroll likes to run that dang football.
Yep.
And Ashton Genty is going to touch the rock. So I went back and I looked at the most touches for a rookie running back. 390 by Dickerson in 83 is a record. You got 378 by George Rogers in 81. You got 369 by Adrian James in 99 and 368 by Curtis Martin in 1995. When Pete had Marshawn had 301 in 2013 as far as carries and 315 in 2012. He's going to touch the ball 280 to 300 times next year. Genty's going to get a lot of opportunity. We know that Geno's good off the play action. We know that Geno is more comfortable when you have a good run game. It has to be him because we look at just the draft. Offensively, there's no one really in this draft where you think, man, that guy's going to be a superstar. The number 1 pick in the league in the draft is going to struggle next year with the Titans. I don't see any receivers having really humongous years. It has to be the running back position, the most natural position in football. Genty's going to touch the ball a lot. I think he's going to go for 1,000 yards. He's going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Pete Carroll is going to use him as the foundational piece to get this offense rolling in Las Vegas, and Geno is going to be okay. He's in a tough division, though. But good luck to you over there. Ashton Genty, crown him now. Take your votes. He'll be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Potential to threaten.
Who's that?
Tetero McMillan?
He could. I mean, it's
Maybe.
all. Who's with? Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, can Bryce Young be the guy we saw the last 3 games? That's the question over there. Can Canales get those guys rolling over there?
I don't think so.
It's so hard for a receiver to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's happened before because you're relying on your quarterback, and we just don't know about Bryce. I hope Bryce has turned the corner because he's a good kid, Heisman Trophy winner, but all you got to do is turn around and get that thing to Genty and let him run.
Third down. What's a trade rumor you would not entertain?
Man, I'm reading Sports Illustrated going across the country, and the Bears wanted to move up in the draft to pick up Ashton Genty. They were not able to do that. So I heard a trade rumor of the Bears going after Ken Walker. I don't know what Ken Walker would be worth, but I wouldn't do it. I want to see Ken Walker operate in this new Kubiak offense because I think that if he is patient, if he's watching that film, if he's giving the wide zone a chance, looking for the cutback late, he could have one of those years going for 1,000 yards and having runs over 20 yards. I remember a couple years ago, he had like a 60-yard touchdown, a 50-yard touchdown, a 30-yard touchdown. I think in this offense, he's capable of doing that. I think Zach Charbonnet is a good running back. I think McIntosh is a good running back. I think Damian Martinez is a good running back. But they're not Ken Walker. And you got to have that home run hitter in this offense. Neither of those guys have the speed that Ken Walker have to break it 60 yards like the way he's done it. So the Bears, I understand you want a partner to Swift over there, but stay off of K9, leave him alone. Kubiak, get him going. I would not entertain that trade at all.
4th down. If you were the Seahawks head coach, what's something you would do when you have a joint practice with the Green Bay Packers?
If I am Mike McDonald, we are going to Green Bay. Are we going there or they come here? Either way. Or we go there or they come here. And when we get into our red zone situation, I'm lining up in the Tush Push. I'm lining up and say, oh, you want this band? I'm lining up in the Tush Push, and then I'm separating. I'm breaking out. Then I'm getting in the regular formation. I'm just messing with them, right? I'm going back and forth. I'm talking crap to them. I'm just having a little fun with the Packers in their organization over there, because they are the leaders of the Bam the Tush Push call that has been brought up to the NFL, the commissioner, and all those good guys. So no, I'm having a little bit of fun, but I am happy that these guys are doing joint practices. You get so much out of it. Only 3 preseason games. I want to see more of Ricky White. I want to see more of Jalen Milroe. We're not going to see Sam Darnold that much. This is where the starters really get that work, is during these joint practices. But I'm having a little bit of fun, and I hope the Packers would have a good sense of humor about it. We're going to line up in the Tush Push and get ready to go. The defense is going to be tripping. What are we doing? And then I'm going to expand and get into a regular formation with the bigs and just play some mind games.
You know what's so interesting? It's obviously a result of the era of football in which I personally grew up, but I see the Packers as not being like a soft team or, it's just interesting that they're kind of at the forefront of a kid that went to tell his mom something that happened at school. Like, that's the vibe now that they're giving me. It's giving, even though 22 owners voted with it, tattletale.
Yeah. Snitching.
It's giving snitch.
Yeah.
It's giving. It's giving you're being a little soft.
Yeah, it's talking to your mom on the side and telling on your younger brother and sister, like, look, this is what they're doing when you're
not
not
here.
here.
You need to handle it yourself. Again, I'm sure there's something I don't understand about it, and I'm sure that if
the Tush Push?
Yeah.
You understand it. Ain't much to it.
I'm just saying, like, the 22 owners were against this. It's like, well, what's going on here? What don't I see? I see no problem with this.
Man, it's soft. That is football at its purest form to me. Like, as soon as the Tush Push is gone, if you brought someone back from the 1950s and they're watching football today, they're like, what is this? Well, what is this game you guys are playing? This is not the way we played it. And change could be good, man. If they do get rid of it, so be it. But you're right. It sounds like a bunch of crybabies complaining about a play that they just can't stop.
A change is coming to college football. We'll tell you what you need to know next.
The Astros take the opening game, 4-game series. And, man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms. That's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place Ams look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Memorial Day weekend. You know what that means.
No work on Monday.
And the start of the summer season.
With all the summer sales this weekend. Look at all these ads.
I know, but there is one store we really should visit.
Why?
To check out the new TVs from Samsung and LG and Sony.
Aren't those expensive?
Not this weekend. Video Only has huge deals on the new models and even trade-in discounts.
What about online or the warehouse clubs?
We can do better at Video Only. They've got the lowest prices of the year on the new TVs, including all the top-rated models.
Okay, let's check them out. Or
we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or dishwashers, but you will find the best deals on the best TVs, soundbars, and home theater systems. Shop around, but then make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma. Video Only.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Brought to you by Integrated Rehabilitation Group.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
360 letting us know, former quarterback here, the Tush Push takes away from the beauty and art of football. Listen, 360, while I kind of understand what you're saying, there are players who literally urinate on themselves during games. I don't know that I would say that football is the most refined sport and refined display of athleticism we've ever seen. Can it be really amazing and skillful and, take a lot of smarts to kind of outduel each other as play callers? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't know that I'd say the tush push is
It's one play.
degrading.
How about trips right, jet sweep, reverse double pass? You still got that in there. You still got the beauty of football. Sometimes get gritty and grimy. You ever see when heavyweights at the end, like the 10th, 11th round, they're all gassed and they're just throwing haymakers. That's tush push. Throw some haymakers.
And I prefer the grittiness of football, the violence of football, and but I see what you're saying. Let's go on to the timeline here. Thanks to a thrilling last-second pass, the Slaw Dog has won the inaugural Weenie 500. 6 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles representing different regions of the U.S., yes, including one for the Pacific Northwest, a Seattle Dog, raced for 2 laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And congratulations to the Slaw Dog.
Slaw Dog making the move up the inside on the run to the yard of bricks and over the line. It looks like it's going to be the Slaw Dog by a nose. Slaw Dog win.
In the closest finish in Weenie 500 history, Slaw Dog by a nose. Unbelievable.
The Secretariat, no, just kidding. It would not be the Secretariat of Wienermobiles. I like the closest finish in Weenie 500 history. Wienermobile, that's hard to say, history. So funny. Yes, it was the inaugural running.
I'm watching a promo video for it right now.
Yeah.
Like it's for real.
So funny. They're so slow. They're so slow. The Seattle Dog finished 3rd.
So you did that too.
I didn't jinx. No. We need to qualify and define what jinxes are. I said the Seattle Dog is going to finish in 4th. And if it finishes in 1st, then I will bring us all Seattle Dogs because I love a food bet. It adds fun to an event where you guys all get to root against me, and I figure that's always fun for you guys. It finished in 3rd. A jinx would be me saying...
How many were there? 5?
5? 6?
6.
6.
All right. It's not bad.
Yeah. A jinx would be me saying the Seattle Dog will absolutely win. It cannot possibly lose. And then it finishes last. But jinxes aren't. Again, I'm done having this conversation.
I'm going to
You guys are
tease
making up rules for jinxes all the time.
For the rest of the month, I'm teasing you.
No, we're going to define it right now. A jinx is when you say something and then the opposite happens, right? Or like you jinx someone. You say like, Julio's for sure just got to stay healthy and then he gets hurt. Or you say a perfect game and then the perfect game is lost. Like that's what a jinx is, right?
Yeah, all the stuff you did yesterday.
I didn't do anything yesterday. I did nothing. The Mariners, with a rusty George Kirby and a top of the lineup that got a little cold, lost to the Astros, a team that, while not as good as in previous seasons, has just typily gotten the better of them. That's what happened with the Mariners. I did not do anything to the Mariners.
There's too much reason, too much logic going on with you over there.
We're moving on. We're moving on. I do want to play that open later in the show, though. The 12-team college football playoff, this was the tease, will move to a straight seeding model this year. So we're going to have a change to college football playoff seeding. That is the big story for the timeline. It's going to reward the selection committee's top 4 teams with the top 4 seeds and a first-round bye. So ESPN has a 2024 simulation of how this would look different. And the 2 schools most affected in this case, so for last year's playoffs, would have been Arizona State and Boise State. Basically, you don't just get that extra bye for winning your division.
No.
You obviously get your playoff entrance, but there's a reseeding where you are no longer a number 4 or number 3 seed. You're where you are in the ranking.
Here's something that humans can do. I think they can identify the top 4 teams in college football. For the most part, when we look at the rankings, there's always some controversy once you get to like 5, 6, 7, 8. They kind of get mixed all up in between there. But for the most part, we can look at football teams and say, yeah, that's the best football team in the country, or one of them. We can pick out the top 4. So I like this. Arizona State had a great year. Big ups, Paul Moyer. Boise State had a great year. Big ups, Ashton Genty.
Mm-hmm.
But we all knew that they were not one of the top 4 teams in the country. So I like this. They got it right. They're not wasting their time. They're not, let's wait 2 or 3 more years to figure this out.
Yeah.
It was easy to see. Good job, NCAA, getting this.
The Rockies are 8-42. They were just swept in a 4-game series by the Phillies. Our next story in the timeline. They are officially off to the worst start for any MLB team since 1895, when the Louisville Colonels started their season 7-43. What bums. Then there's this from ESPN. The Rockies are 5-20 at home, on pace to lose 136 games this season, which, yes, would pass the infamous 1899 Cleveland Spiders for the most losses by an MLB team.
Listen, I'm looking at just the slash for the teams, right, in MLB, and they are at the bottom or near the bottom in every category. Only team that got them beaten in a couple are the White Sox, and they got a better record than them. They're just not a very good baseball team, and I hope that they don't end up with the worst record. Would that be 2 years in a row? Did the White Sox finish with the worst record?
The White Sox were 121 as the worst. Yes, the White Sox were the worst, and it was the worst in the modern era. But the Rockies may set like just a new record. That's
I don't wish that on anybody. That has to be frustrating to show up to work every single day and know you're not good enough to get it done. That's your mental health is jacked up. Your relationships are jacked up at home. Dad is probably angry all the time. The skipper, he's throwing his hands up saying, what do you want me to do with this squad? The people upstairs. Like we were talking, I heard DePoto talk about how he transitions through a season. I forgot who the interview was. And he says, look, the first third of the season, you're seeing what you have. The second third of the season, you're making adjustments. The last third of the season, you're kind of sitting back and letting it all happen.
Yeah.
They don't have a process over there. They are just scrambling, reaching for things, throwing them on the baseball field and hoping that it sticks. It has to be frustrating to be a fan of the Rockies and be a part of the organization.
Let's get back to our previous story because I have some listener questions right now. That one was about college reseeding going to a straight seeding format. The 206, surprise, surprise, more changes to benefit the traditional power teams. Bump, do you think this benefits the traditional power teams or is just a way? Because I know that you agree with the reseeding.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we know what conferences produce the best football teams. Let's live in reality. I understand the story of underdogs are great. The story of Boise State last year was awesome with Ashton Jeanty. The story of Arizona State getting into that new conference and playing some good football with Scatterbo, awesome. But the powerhouse teams like Ohio State, Alabama at one point, they are those teams because of personnel. They are those teams because they go out and get the best football players. Football is black and white. You can see it. The better team wins in football 99% of the time. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have the run that you have in March Madness with George Mason making it to the Final Four. Appalachian State will never be in the college football playoff, right? And it's because of their personnel and because of their conference, right? There's a certain level of player that gets to these conferences. Now, they do produce some professional football players, but for the most part, they just don't have the talent there. So it does benefit them, but typically those are the better teams. It is what it is. So it kills the underdog story. It makes it harder for them at least, but I have no problem with this.
No, I don't either. Underdog stories are exceptionally rare when it comes to football. Obviously, it was the first version of the expanded playoffs for the college football playoffs, so we have no history there of real underdog stories per se, because it was the first year that this was happening. And it's just, while it is, I just don't think it's common or even worth complaining about a lack of Cinderella stories in college football. That's just not typically what happens. When you're talking about March Madness and when you're talking about, it feels like this year was chalk in March Madness and there weren't real Cinderella stories, then I think it's an interesting conversation to talk about the impact of the transfer portal as opposed to reseeding or playoff structure. Like, I don't know that playoff structure hampered the lack of Cinderella stories this year in college basketball. I think it's that these mid-level program, the best players at some mid-level programs move on very quickly to other programs.
And when you're playing a physical game like football, that's why there's no Cinderella stories.
There's just
like
not.
It's force against force. Yes. It's not skill versus skill.
Yes.
Like you see it in baseball, you can see it in basketball because it's skill. When you're saying, look, I'm just bigger, faster, stronger than you, I'm going to run through you, the Cinderella story ain't going to happen.
I will say that ESPN, in their own restructuring of this, said that, yes, Arizona State and Boise State, those would be the two Cinderella stories here, their odds would have sunk without receiving a bye, but their title odds were minimal regardless. ESPN said the teams that actually ended up hurt the most by this change, were this happening last year, would have been number 2 seeded Georgia and the original 5 seed Texas and 11 seed SMU, because they would have been placed on Ohio State's side of the bracket. Meanwhile, Ohio State and Tennessee, yes, the powers that be, at least for Ohio State, their odds would have benefited from the fact that they would no longer be paired with unbeaten number 1 Oregon.
All the teams, the little guys in the tournament, got smacked.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Oh my God, we have so much stuff to get to. Okay. We have some leftover stuff from here we might get to a little bit later. Coming up next, though, we are heading away from baseball, heading away from football, heading away from college football to talk about one of the most prominent figures in sports, Caitlin Clark. She doesn't need your help. That's next.
The Astros take the opening game of this 4-game series. And, man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms. That's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place Ams look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Welcome to IRG Sports Injury Update. We're here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and president of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, and our guest, Dr. Anthony Yee, orthopedic surgeon with additional advanced training in foot and ankle surgery at Orthopedic Specialist of Seattle.
Dr. Yee, thanks for coming on. Everybody knows about Aaron Rodgers. 4th play of the season, he tears his Achilles tendon. He had surgery, and they used a technique called speed bridge. Maybe tell us what that means with an Achilles tendon repair.
Yeah, so it's an awesome newer technique that a company called Arthrex has recently put out that allows surgeons to repair an Achilles through a minimally invasive approach. So a very small incision that only requires a few stitches, and you get really robust repair of the Achilles tendon and get to anchor it down into the heel bone. So it really allows for accelerated rehab. Aaron Rodgers walking around, throwing the football a little over a month out from his surgery is almost unheard of. The average patient is usually just starting to wean off of crutches somewhere around the 6-week mark.
Well, when you talk about new technology and also minimally invasive surgery, so the accelerated rehab, Aaron Rodgers, for example, he's talking about coming back in November. Is that really a possibility with this new technique?
I would be surprised, but I won't discount it. You know, there is a precedent with Cam Akers coming back somewhere around, I believe, 4 or 5 months after an Achilles rupture in this similar procedure. So I won't write it off.
Yeah, Speed Bridge, that new technique, minimally invasive surgery, is allowing athletes and doctors like yourself to progress rehab a lot faster and get these athletes back to play. Dr. Yee, thank you so much for your time. Great information.
Thanks for having me.
If you want more information regarding foot and ankle injuries, you can contact Dr. Anthony Yee at orthopedicspecialistofseattle.com. That's orthopedicspecialistofseattle.com.
With over 40 neighborhood clinics around Washington, IRG has you covered. Let IRG be your family's physical therapist. Find the location nearest you at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Don't waste time trying to get rid of your old or broken car. Cars for Kids is the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Go to carsforkids.org today. That's cars with a K.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He'd just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had of his late husband's. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard got a bit chippy early into a Fever game.
There's a lot of bumping and chippiness at half court between Ryan Howard and Caitlin Clark. And last game, Ryan Howard's defense really got Caitlin Clark taken aback, and you can see the hold there. Then Ryan Howard doesn't like that. And there's some words between the two players as Naz Hillman quickly comes over and gets her bestie out of the scuffle.
So the words between the two players, I'm not sure what Ryan was saying to Caitlin, but Caitlin turns and you can see her mouth, I'm not afraid of you. Or like, you don't scare me. Just typical trash talk within a game, but being that Caitlin Clark is probably the most prominent figure right now to particularly casual fans of the WNBA. It prompted a lot of people to talk about how Caitlin Clark is just being constantly, I don't know, bullied or whatever by teammates, or excuse me, not teammates, by the ops, by other players. And I thought that you and I would like talking about this, and that Caitlin Clark in general tends to be a topic that I know resonates with a lot of people. They're at least interested in. And I just wanted to bring it up to say this. I don't think Caitlin Clark needs people to defend her.
No, she good. And she didn't flinch in that moment. I think here's the tough thing about women's sports, right? Is that for so many years, people, or at least society, has expected a woman to behave a certain way, right? To be soft and caring and all that stuff. You can be that. You be that. If you are that type of woman, you're that type of woman. But once competition is on the table, once you are competing, all that stuff is out the window. You can still be that soft, caring person. There are men who are that way too. We don't get into confrontations or whatnot. But when you are competing, there is something that comes out of an athlete that produces these rivalries and these back and forths or whatnot. Russell Westbrook talks the most trash out of anybody I've ever seen on the basketball court. No one says anything to him. Why? Because he's a dude. He's a man. And we expect men to behave that way. Right? I remember him and Katie going at it. Pat Beverly is the most annoying basketball player I've ever seen in my life. Talks so much crap. So I think that because we're seeing women behave this way, you know, so they blow it out of proportion, where I look at it and I go, that's competition. Let's go. Like, I want that. Talk to her, Caitlin. Howard, get at her. This is all part of the competition because it's getting into the mind of the ops. And I love that Caitlin has not backed down because she's had a lot of pressure being a white woman in a league that's dominated by black women and getting the spotlight and having Andrew Reese kind of hating on her at the same time. She has not flinched at all. She has still gone out there. She's third all time in the WNBA when it comes to triple doubles. WNBA needs to do better. Okay. She's only been in the league 1 year. She is the most recognizable player in the WNBA right now. She has a target on her back. She knows everybody's getting after her, and she does not flinch. And I love that. And I also think that it's not a big deal if they go back and forth at each other. If she fouls Angel Reese hard, if Angel Reese gets at her, because that happens in competition all across the board. Any sport, it happens all the time. So I'm more proud of Caitlin Clark. Being like, I ain't scared of you. What's up? I'm about to drop 30 on you. Now, she didn't have a great game.
But they did win.
They did win. And I think she didn't make a three-pointer for the first time in like 1,200 days or something like that.
Yeah, and it was the first stretch that they won where she didn't do that.
So it's, no, I love it, man. It's drama is part of sports. Drama is sports is entertainment. And with entertainment comes drama and rivalries and that going back and forth. I love it, man. I think it's good for the game.
I do too, and I like having these kinds of conversations. I know it has nothing to do necessarily with, certainly not with the Storm, but with any Seattle team or any Seattle athlete right now. But I like a conversation that you would just have with your friends, and I think this is one of them for me, where you talk about two things being true. In my opinion, two things are true. One, I think Caitlin gets unfair criticism, including from people in her own league.
Yeah.
Like unfair hate, unfair criticism, unfair pushback, when I'm like, what are you talking about? She's great for the league. I don't care if anyone disagrees with me. That's how I feel about it. And I think she gets more hate than she deserves. And I think it's really unfortunate that at times the weird pushback that she's received has come from representatives of the WNBA. The second thing I think is true is just leave it alone. She's fine handling it. We don't need to collectively, as people watching the sport, enforce, maybe because it's a women's sport, maybe because people view Caitlin as being a fan favorite. You don't need to enforce a kind of soft sportsmanship that you wouldn't enforce in any other sport.
This ain't rec league.
No.
These aren't amateurs. These are professionals, man. And it's almost like...
I like a rivalry. I like some nastiness.
I do. And it's good for the game, man. When you're an athlete at the highest level, you tap into something that the average person can only tap into during road rage or something like that, right? It's a controlled aggression out there. You have to have some animalistic traits about you out there on the court, on the field, or whatever. You tap into something different. Like, I've gone at dudes on the football field, then after the game, it's all love. I didn't call him every name in the book. He called me every name in the book. I'm talking about you. You talking about me. After the game's over, cool. It's just competition. I think we need to get away from it's because that's what I think it is. It's because it's a women's sport.
People feel like they have to defend Caitlin Clark because they feel like the treatment she's getting is unfair, which I think in part it is unfair, but you don't need to defend her.
Nah. What do you mean? She has a target on her back. You know why she has a target on her back?
Because she's
nice. If she wasn't nice, ain't nobody worried about Caitlin Clark. That comes with this, right? Once she reaches a status, if she reaches a status of like a LeBron, a Kobe, or whatnot, this is going to go away. But until then, you got to prove yourself, right? It happens. I've seen people get at Shaq when he was a young dude, Barkley when he was a young dude. But then you reach a certain status and people have that respect and say, he's one of the GOATs, she's one of the GOATs. I ain't going there with you. She ain't there yet. So keep getting at her. Caitlin, keep getting at them. Keep dropping them threes on them. And we will keep watching. It's been fun the last couple of years.
It's good for the league. Would you say the Caitlin Clark pushback has been good for the league, though? It's one of those things where I'm like, leave it alone, let it happen. She's fine defending herself, and you don't need to enforce high school levels of sportsmanship into this. Like, let athletes be competitive and hate each other if they want to. That doesn't mean you don't need to privately think or talk to your friends and go, come on.
Yeah. At some point, it's like, okay, enough is enough. But it's not like this happens often. It happened twice this year, pretty frequently so far with only a few games in. But it's just physical play. It's competition. Do you remember that clip? I forgot who it was, but it's Michael Jordan and someone from the Knicks, like forehead to forehead, just talking to each other, going at it. No one threw a punch. Nobody fought. It was just, let's get at each other. Let's compete. That's what's fun about sports, man. I'm telling you, tap into something that's great. I love it.
Yeah, and again, this is the royal we don't need to then make everyone that pushes back against Caitlin into a villain. Sometimes it could just be a player that's getting in her face, that doesn't like her, that wants to try to mess her up mentally for a game.
Yeah, trying to get in her head.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the bad guy in this situation. It's just, that's sports.
That is sports.
I found myself thinking a lot about that and just thinking, like, I saw that clip and thought, that's great. I love this.
Yeah.
I love that back and forth. And I love Caitlin saying, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. I thought it was a great clip, and let it keep happening. All right. We are going to jump to Seahawks in just 1 second. Quickly, the IRG injury report brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Dan Wilson yesterday gave an update on Julio's injury against scratch from the lineup, and also Brian Wu.
Yeah, Julio just with some a back tightness, just a day-to-day thing. So, and then Brian Wu, the foul ball came in the dugout and got, I think it was a bruise on his lower leg, but I think, he was up and around, walking around, so he should be fine.
Big Ray Roberts joining us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
What if the Mariners were fully healthy? They had their full complement of everybody in the rotation. You had Robles, you had Rayleigh, Brash from the start of the year, I guess, 2. All of those guys are only worth 2 wins?
They're getting it done in a different kind of way. I mean, yeah, I think everything has worked out for a reason.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance. Blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners take on the Astros for Game 2 of a 4-game series at 5:10 p.m. today. Pregame show starts at 4 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. A quick look at MLB's scoreboard. One game going on right now. It's Orioles-Red Sox. Baltimore off to a disappointing start this season. Actually up over Boston 2-1, top of the 5th.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Seahawks analyst Big Ray Roberts joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Big Ray, how's it going?
It's going good. How about you guys?
We're good. I want to ask you first about a new award the NFL will have, but before I get to that, I have a quick question. Do you believe in jinxes?
Yeah, I do. I think it's kind of crazy, but yeah, I think sometimes people can put things in the universe that either affirms what you're doing or it goes against what you're doing.
Ray,
That's
I was
surprising.
hoping you would have my back.
That's surprising, Ray, because you don't believe in momentum. So I'm like, there's no way he believes in jinx.
I know. Hey, I'm a complex dude, bro.
He's like an onion. Many layers to Ray Roberts. Okay. Let me get to my first question here. Obviously nothing to do with the Seahawks, but the NFL is going to introduce an annual award for the best offensive lineman. And I found myself wondering, like, how are they going to judge this? They're going to have, a group of former offensive linemen, so guys that know how to watch the tape. But, man, Ray, I found myself realizing my own lack of knowledge with grading offensive linemen when I just thought, how do you figure out who the best offensive lineman was? If you were on this panel, what kind of things would you be looking for?
Well, first of all, let me just say, about damn time. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're overworked and underappreciated. You know what I'm saying? So it's really good to, that they're going to have an award for this, and it's going to be like any other award. Like it's not going to come down to like one specific thing, and there's going to be opinions all over the place. But I do think that you have to have maybe some guideposts that you go by, and like for me, like it's not just about your physical domination. Like if you're going to be the best, like I want to see great technique. I want to see great effort. I want to see great finish. I want to see you playing at the highest level against the best players. Like all that kind of stuff is going to matter. And so I would love to be on the panel. I don't know how you get your name on it, but I would love to be able to do it because I just think it's an opportunity. Somebody was saying it might be an opportunity to get more better players playing offensive line. And to me, it's not about having better players. It's about having better coaching and development and then being able to appreciate what you actually do on the offensive line. So understanding like how, one bad angle messes up a whole play that 4 other dudes are blocking correctly. One wrong step can make the difference between an 80-yard gain and a 2-yard gain or a 1-yard loss. So it's been able to bring that type of attention to the position and maybe educate people is really exciting to me.
Big Ray, I think that, and I think Stacy agrees with me, it's going to be so hard to determine who the best offensive lineman is, right? Because you can look at the stats like pressures given up, sacks given up, penalties, but it's such a technical type of sport. I mean, you just describe all these things that comes with the position. I think people look at O-line and think it's just strength and grit and all that. It's like, nah, there's a lot of technique that goes into this. I know it's probably hard putting you on the spot like that, but what are like a couple of things physically that you think should be the criteria of the best offensive lineman?
Well, I'll just put it to you this way, but when I study film, and I had this conversation with online with G. Scott and Meebane, or not necessarily with Meebane, but some of his responses about drafting Zabel early. And they were asking me well, what game did you watch? And I'm like, I don't watch the game. I watch the plays. I watch what are you doing against that person? So I don't know who that person plays for, but the first thing I look for is I look for their technique first. What is their knee bend like? What is their lateral movement like? What is their power like? Those types of things. Then I look at their footwork, if they're taking proper steps, things like that. I look for their finish. If they're trying to, some guys can get into a block, run their feet for 2 or 3 steps, and then they stop and watch the play. Other guys couldn't care less when the play ends. They're trying to drive dudes back in the dirt. To me, that's important. And then your desire to want to do those things is important. The way you can stay connected in a block. You can't be a great blocker if you fall to the ground after 2 steps. So can you stay connected throughout it's like saying defensive back stay in phase or whatever it is with a receiver. So an offensive lineman, you have to stay in phase with the dude you're blocking. So those types of the things I look for. So let's say you're gonna down block you're an offensive tackle and you're gonna down block on the defensive tackle. So he's lined up over the guard. Are you stepping underneath yourself, or are you taking a little short step towards the guy? Because that little 4, 5, 6 inches could be the difference between a play that's getting tackled in the backfield versus a play that goes 50 yards for a touchdown. And so a lot of people don't look for that. They just go oh man, the defensive lineman made a great play. It's well, the offensive lineman made a bad play, because they use bad technique. So I think those are the types of things that you have to look for. And to me, I love it because, like you said, Bump, I've got into some debates during the draft before the draft about guys going from guard to tackle to guard to center. And yeah, it's great that if you can find a person that can do that, but the chances of you being able to do that are very slim. And yet you can find an exception to the rule, but that is not the rule. You're not normally going to find a guard that can play tackle. And so when people start talking about stuff like that, I just go this. More than likely, they don't know what they're talking about, and so I think just being able to have more spotlight on the position and having more people talk about it, and then like you said, trying to define what makes the best offensive lineman, trying to define that, and you have 3 distinct positions that you have to judge that from: center, guard, tackle, and then you got to look at the left tackle is usually valued more than the right tackle, but the right tackle is valued more in the team that runs because they tend to run to the right. All these different kinds of things you got to try to evaluate to kind of come up with this. So I think it's going to be a lot of maybe a few little guideposts and then a lot of subjectivity to it, and then maybe the dispute or debate over it will bring even more attention to the position.
This is quite a similar question, but I really like staying in this vein for the conversation. What's maybe one of the single most misunderstood things you see when it comes to analysis or takeaways with the offensive line? And this could be when it comes to the approach to building one, when it comes to development, or just in-game stuff, but just something that you frequently find yourself wanting to correct people on.
That there's several, so I'll have to let me
go to town.
I think the first one is that people don't view offensive linemen as weapons. Everything else is they got to put weapons around them. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a receiver, a running back, a tight end, quarterback. Those are the weapons, and then they don't design plays that take advantage of the abilities of the offensive line. They design plays to take advantage of those quote-unquote weapons. And so to me, that then impacts the development of the offensive line, the success of the offensive line, all those different things. You don't think of an offensive lineman as making a play. But when you take the proper angle and you get the proper down block and the running back gets to spring for 6 or 7 or 8 yards or longer, you made a play. but you don't think of us that way. It's just like, oh, the big dudes up front got to be stronger. Like, okay, what does that mean? They got to hit harder. Well, what does you're going to tell me an NFL dude isn't trying to hit a person as hard as he can? Like that kind of stuff. So it's to me that's just an indication that sometimes those people and I'm not going to go down that lane. Bumpers warned me. I don't want to make anybody angry, but that's the kind of stuff that all these metrics don't speak to. So you can have all these scores about their athleticism and all this other kind of stuff and how high they can jump and how fast they can run and what they can bench press and all this other kind of stuff. But man, if they can't take the proper angles, if they can't learn to play, if they don't have knee bend, if they can't finish don't have the desire to finish a block, if they can't stay connected to a block, I don't care how fast, how high, how strong you are, you suck. You can't do it. Like, it doesn't matter. And so you still have to be able to actually do the things that the position requires. And that's the most important thing. So you don't have to be the biggest, strongest, fastest dude to do that.
Ray, do you think that there should be multiple O-line awards because the center has different traits than a guard and a tackle? Should it be a tackle, guard, center type thing?
You know what? Like, that would be a bit much, but that's going to be one of the challenges, Bump, is because what you're asking the center to do and what type of offense you're running that center is blocking in could be different than what the right tackle is doing for the Detroit Lions. Like Sune Peel, you may be asking him to do something totally different than you're asking the left guard for the Seahawks to do. So how do you determine which one of those are the best offensive linemen and like the systems they run in, the other people that they have around them? What if you're like an all-pro guard playing against a garbage tackle? It's like, and so that could impact your play. Or do you have to be on the winning team? Some of the best offensive linemen aren't on the teams that win. Like when I played, I won't say that I was the best offensive lineman, but there were years when I had great years, but I was on losing teams. And so I never quite made it to the Pro Bowl. I'd be like an alternate or also receiving votes or something like that. But I felt like I may not have been the best pass blocker or the best run blocker, but I was one of the best at doing both of them. Yeah. Which if that makes sense. And so, but I just never was on a team that was highlighted enough. Even when Barry rushed for 2,000 yards, like the majority of those yards started to the left. But the only person on our offensive line that went to the Pro Bowl was our center. And so that was a little disappointing. So, like, you have to be able to maybe weed through that stuff, too, because you don't think of us impacting wins as much as you do, the quarterback and things like that.
Okay, Ray, big picture question. Do the Seahawks need to make the playoffs for this season to be a step forward or a success?
You know what? I think so because the defense is there, I think. I think you have a playoff caliber defense, and if they can hit the ground running the way they finished the season, then I think then the pressure is on this new offensive staff to have the offense hitting the ground running pretty fast. It's not time to kind of try to fill things out the first 4 or 5 games of the season. They need to hit the ground running, which then means this award that we're talking about, they have some young offensive linemen that are going to have to step up quick, fast, and in a hurry because you won't have time to let them acclimate to what the newness is and then also be able to make the playoffs. And so I think you have a playoff caliber defense and you have an offense that have pieces that could be playoff caliber, but then you need some other development pieces that need to come along real fast.
Hey, Ray, I heard a trade rumor. I want to get your thoughts on this, man. The Bears are rumored to be extremely interested in K9. Would you entertain that, or would you give K9 a shot in this offense?
I love K9. Let me just say that, first of all. Like, he's very explosive and creative in how he runs, but I do think that he is a running back for a particular system and a particular way that you want him to run. I think when you are saying, hey, here's our entry point to the offensive line and to this run play, and we need you to press that hole and then make a decision, I think that's a little bit challenging for him. And it doesn't mean that he's not a great running back. It just means that his style isn't for everyone. And with this outside zone stuff, man, you have to be really committed to it. And you can't cut it all the way back to the other side because now you're cutting back to the bad dudes. You're trying to – all the dudes you're cutting off are back there where you're cutting to. So I think you got to – with the outside zone and just in the zone in general, it works better when the cutback is almost like you're not putting your foot in the ground and totally reversing field. It's almost like you're just rolling into the space that's available. And so some people will say like, oh, that's cutting back, but it really isn't. It's just you're aiming for the outside – shoulder of the tackle, but as the play goes, the outside shoulder of the tackle is moving to the right, if you're going to the right. So when you roll, you may roll right behind the guard. And so it looks like you're cutting it back, but you're actually running right over where the hole initially started. And so K9 tends to put his foot in the ground and tries to go all the way back behind the left tackle. And just there's not a whole lot of success in running that way all the time. And so I think depending on what you can get back from him and how comfortable you feel with the guys that you have, I would entertain it probably.
He is Big Ray Roberts. Ray, you're the best. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ray.
Oh, thanks for having me. Good to hear you guys and catch up with you again.
You too. Bye, Ray.
Peace.
Before we get to headline rewrites, I wanted to take just a minute to ask you about Ray's final answer about K9. I know that for 4 Down territory, you were like, no, I really want to see what Walker looks like in this system. You've got a brand new offensive coordinator. For Ray, he felt like not every running back is going to be the best fit, and maybe he'd seen enough. Like, he loves K9, great player, but there might be a slightly different fit here. Could you, A, break down a little more of what Ray was saying for fans that may not be as apt to read between the lines, and B, has it changed your mind at all?
I'll go with B first. No, I'll still roll with K9 and see what he can do. What Ray is saying is that K9 is the type of running back who needs the destination, right? So when you run gap schemes, when you're pulling a guard, you're pulling tackles, you're trapping the one tech, so say the center's blocking down on the guy inside of him, you pull your guard around, the destination is clear. You follow your lineman through that gap. With this zone, you see how Big Ray was describing it as a rollback. It's like zone is like a feel type of run to where I'm pressing the right side, and as the play develops, bodies start to move, the gap can open up in several places, right? I'm just pressing this direction to move everybody and allow my linemen to get to that second and third level and create these blocks. But you're dealing with human beings, so things are going to move and things are going to happen. So the running back's job is to influence and feel. So what Big Ray is saying, he ain't giving time. He's not allowing the influence to create a feel and then the gap to open up. He's just pressing it so quickly. He wants to get back right now and try to create the home run. So he probably, what Big Ray is saying, he'll probably have more success in like a Baltimore Ravens offense to where you're pulling, you're getting downhill, you're hitting the B. There's no cutback. You're going right now. We are creating the destination for you. So, yeah, I could see exactly what Big Ray is talking about. I want to give him another chance just because I know the potential of this dude. He has the home run. If he can be patient, if he can press the B, the right side, and roll back, cut back when the gap presents itself, he has home run ability.
Someone said, I love Ray's analysis. He's a great guest. He is a great guest, except that he did not agree with me on jinxes.
I'm surprised because Big Ray's momentum. I don't even say momentum around Big Ray.
The only person I've ever met who doesn't believe in momentum at all is a concept.
But he believes in jinxes. I'm like, he is a complicated man.
Well,
that's my big homie.
I might have a take when we start talking about later in the show. We're going to have some fun. It's a Friday and talk about some famous jinxes and curses. I am also of two minds. I still don't believe in jinxes, but let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have taken a 2-game lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. What's the real headline?
The Thunder are going to get this done, I fear.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
No.
Lightning and the thunder.
No.
It's going down.
No.
SGA, man, he's a baller. My guy didn't disappoint on the day that he receives his MVP trophy. Also got his teammates some Rollies, too, some Rolexes for their help Yeah, it's unfortunate. I saw a tweet that compared Anthony Edwards to Damian Lillard. Like, you're good enough, you're going to have moments, but you just can't get over the hump. But it's too early in his career to kind of put that on him right now. He does need more help. Chet Holmgren had himself a day, dropped 22 of them things, had a nice little grown man dunk during that whole performance. He was the key to the game for me going into the game, and it wound up being true. But it's about SGA. There's something about this young team that's appealing to the masses when you exclude the Northwest.
Headline rewrites.
The College Football Playoff Committee has made some seeding changes for the 2025 season. What's the real headline?
Apologies to the best Mountain West team. Obviously, Boise State would have been one of the teams, in addition to Arizona State, impacted by the changes. There was a listener earlier when we talked about the story in the timeline who texted in and said, you know, this is what I hate is you can't have Cinderella stories anymore in college football. And while I disagreed that Cinderella stories are even something that really happens in college football, I think that's far more common in basketball, and that in football you have upsets, but I do not think upsets are Cinderella stories.
Nah.
I did want to talk about whether in your mind this is fair, because I do think fairness is something that appeals to every single sports fan everywhere.
It is fair. The better teams should have the bye. It's as simple as that. In every sport, minus basketball, hockey doesn't do it either. But the better team should have the bye. And a Cinderella story to me is a team that goes through the tournament and takes down several teams they're not supposed to beat. Guess what? You got a chance to have a Cinderella story with these Mountain West teams or the teams who aren't the number 1 through 4 seed. It's just, it doesn't happen in football because it is a physical sport. It is force against force, right? And when it's a physical sport, less skilled than, say, basketball and baseball, it's the Cinderella story ain't gonna happen.
It just doesn't.
Lil Bobby is 5'9", okay, and Lil Johnny over at Bama is 6'3", and he's gonna go up top on Lil Bobby.
Lil Johnny is not Lil.
Lil Johnny, you know, it's a what's it called, an oxymoron, like Lil Johnny, you know, Lil Johnny, he's 6'3". It's just, it is what it is. You can get it in baseball. We've seen runs in the College World Series. We saw in softball who just beat. Who was it?
Oh, you just talked about this the other day.
There was an upset in softball the other day. Took down number 1. Texas got beat by, I think, Liberty, I want to say. Liberty took down Texas. You can have a Cinderella story there because it's a skill sport. It just doesn't happen in football.
Yeah, I agree. And respect to this listener for pointing out, like, man, it's a bummer that a team like Boise State would have been, at a disadvantage here. But the disadvantage they would have had would not be necessarily a hit to their eligibility for the playoffs. You win your division, you win your bowl game, you win your conference, not your division. You're going to the playoffs. It's just that as the 10th best, 11th best team, you're treated as that instead of as the 3rd best team or the 4th. I don't think anyone looked at Boise State in the full picture of college sports, college football, and thought they were the 3rd best team in that pool. But they were treated like that by virtue of getting that home field advantage. I actually think that it's more fair because, unfortunately, when it comes to college football, you're going to get a lot of teams that have the same record, and you are going to have to get dicey and look at quality of opponent and all those things. And those schools, like Boise State, are typically going to come up short. Just keep winning then. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, you have to win your way to get to the playoff, and they didn't put up much of a fight.
Headline rewrites.
The 8-42 Colorado Rockies are off to the worst 50-game start since 1895. What's the real headline?
I'm genuinely impressed by pre-Spanish flu levels of failure.
That's it's almost impressive them being this bad.
Yeah, I'm honestly, round of applause.
Like, these are professional athletes, and you are this bad. We've seen bad A's teams. We've seen bad White Sox teams. This is another level of bad. And if you are the person responsible for putting this team together, unfortunately, people are going to be looking at you funny and probably calling for your job. It'd be tough to go to work every day if I'm a Rocky.
This was what a baseball roster looked like. The 1899 Cleveland Spiders had... What if Harry Cauliflower was his real name? Highball Wilson. I miss when you could just choose a name, and that could be the name that you had on a baseball roster. You know what I mean? Like, a team hasn't been this bad since we called guys like Two Shoes.
Lefty.
Lefty. Like, that's how long it's been. Like, you had people with not their government name on a baseball roster. That's how horrible you are. And yes, they might get more losses than the Cleveland Spiders.
It's unfortunate.
An iconic team.
Hey, at least they'll be a part of history.
Not the best history.
Not the best, but hey.
It is
you did that.
Wildly impressive to be worse than the White Sox were last season. That's what gets me. All right, taking a look around the NFL next.
The Astros take the opening game, 4-game series, and man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms, that's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place M's look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here for Silver Reef Casino. I want you to get in your car this weekend, take a drive up I-5, get off on exit 260, and you will find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great way to get away, to recharge with your family, your loved ones, whoever. Once you check in, get into one of their deluxe king rooms. They got Wi-Fi, they got views, tablets, very modern. I went there. I loved my stay. I also went downstairs to the restaurant. They got a great steakhouse going on and a cantina if you want some Mexican food. I brought my clubs and I brought a lot of golf balls, man. Go to Loomis Trails. Play 18. There's water on almost every hole. It's intimidating but fun at the same time. They also have great events. They got the Beatles versus the Stones coming up. If you got some FOMO, don't worry. I got you. The secret is out on Silver Reef Casino. Book your stay today at silverreefcasino.com. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing, with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Small's here. It's time to turn things up a notch. This summer, don't binge watch shows. Binge s'mores by the campfire. Press pause on the podcast and press play on the warm weather vibes. Here's your chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. What are you waiting for? Take your shot with 5-Hour Energy and make this summer your best summer ever. Visit 5heshot.com for full details and rules and enter today. No purchase necessary. Ends June 30th, 2025.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community.
and he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Take a look around the NFL. We are going to start with the NFC West in San Francisco. Brock Purdy seems pretty happy about his new deal with the 49ers. Quote, being here day one was a huge emphasis for me, regardless of having a contract done or not. But I had a lot of faith in my agent and the Niners that we were going to get something done. I don't know when exactly, but being here for phase one, he means of OTAs, was huge for me.
I had to go ahead, sorry.
I was going to ask about your expectations for the 49ers season, but what were you going to say first?
So one of my best friends is a 49er fan, and I'm driving after work, and he goes, bro, we really paid Brock Purdy $53 million. He ain't worth that. I go, well, to the Niners, he is worth that. He goes, well, we should have paid him about $45 million. And I told him, I go, so the same is about Geno Smith. He goes, yeah. I go, so what if they offered him $45 million? And he says, well, that's probably what the going rate is. So if the 49ers were to offer him $45 million, he would be offended. He'd go out and shop. He told me, let him go out and shop. Then I go, now you risk losing your quarterback, a quarterback who knows your offense, who knows your quarterback, who's been in this environment before. That's why you pay him $53 million. His market value is probably around $45 million. Yes. But then you lose your quarterback. Yes. You lose that connection. You have to start all over at that position. So I don't think he's worth 53 to the league, but he's worth 53 to the Niners.
Can I tell you a fascinating, so I'm going to credit the Athletic Football Show, who was talking about this, and they got it from a listener. And what you said just reminded me of this conversation they had, and I really liked the question. So I'm paraphrasing the question, but it was something like, do you kind of wish that GMs had longer leashes so that we can see what it looks like in a league where teams take more chance on moving on from quarterbacks? Mm-hmm. Because what this is also an example, to your point, of a GM that probably knows, like, I'm overpaying Brock Purdy, but if I get rid of Brock Purdy, go find someone else and he doesn't work out, I'm out of a job.
Yeah.
So I think this person was asking, do you think that maybe we haven't fully tested the waters when it comes to how, quote, easy it could be to replace a quarterback?
No, because I don't think it's easy to replace a quarterback.
Good answer.
I think that...
I agreed.
How many number ones have we seen just not perform? Like, so many things have to go right for your quarterback to work for you. Is Brock Purdy the most talented quarterback in the league? Heck no. I can name 10 quarterbacks right now that got a better arm, who physically are just better than him. But it's more than just the physical when it comes to your quarterback. It's understanding of the offense. It's having a good relationship with your players, with the OC. Like, moving a quarterback, moving Brock Purdy from the Niners will set them back so much. Kittle wouldn't be happy. Ayuk wouldn't be happy. The defense wouldn't be happy. There's camaraderie that's involved in this as well. So, nah, man, it's hard to find a quarterback. Hardest position in sports, it is hard to find. That's why you overpay him.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's a very fascinating question because it does make you wonder how many teams, like when the Rams extended Jared Goff and you got the feeling that Sean McVay just did not particularly love Jared Goff, you wondered, like, is this a team that might be more willing to move on had they not given up a ton to get that first overall pick to get Goff and then gone to a Super Bowl, and they're already a pretty complete team and just kind of need that quarterback? Like, yeah, they probably would have loved an upgrade. Eventually they got it, obviously, with Matthew Stafford and went on to win a Super Bowl. But I think there are teams that would love more opportunities to test the water. I should say GMs. But they're afraid to do so because they know if they fail, it's done. You are not going to get another chance to, after you fail to find a quarterback, go out and get another one. That's it. So I think, it just made me wonder, what would the 49ers look like moving on from Brock Purdy? Because the number one common sentiment I can see with this is Brock Purdy is not a top 5 quarterback, but is being paid like one.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes, I guess.
That's how it is,
until
man.
GMs have those longer leashes.
Hold on, real quick.
Yes.
But you would assume John Lynch has a long leash, though.
I do think he
It's
does.
longer than most.
Yes.
But that just lets you know how short the leashes really are.
Well, and he's also kind of lucked into I shouldn't say lucked in. They've done a good job combined with luck when it comes to other opportunities. Like that Trey Lance trade would have cost another GM his job. Did they not also tap into not just getting Brock Purdy, but having a run of success?
Yeah.
So they drafted so well with other teams, coached so well, schemed so well that it didn't really matter that they completely bombed a first-round quarterback.
Yeah, facts.
Like, that is crazy. Number 3, Trey Lance was, right? 3 overall?
2 or 3.
Yeah, it's insane. Let's go to New York Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson made his intentions clear. It was a departure from his public frustration in December that fueled speculation he was considering a trade request, but that's not the tune he's singing this time. He says, "I'm hopeful I'm a Jet for life and that we get this thing rolling and all of our best days are ahead of us." This is what he said Wednesday after the Jets' first open OTA practice.
That's why it's tough when you do like these so-called exit interviews or talking to the media after a tough season or a tough loss, is because you're going to say things, or you do say things when you're mad that you don't really mean in the moment. We saw Tyreek Hill say, "Look, I want to get up out of here." About a month later, he's like, "I was just tripping, man. I was emotional after the game. I actually want to stay in Miami." It's tough. But humans, you make mistakes, and there's some moments. I've told this story before. Like, I wanted to leave Washington State at one point. I'm like, man, I'm out of here. And I go home for a summer, and what am I doing, man? Go
how
back
did
to
you
Wazoo.
not? Was it like your mom talked to you? Like, how did you end up changing your mind?
No, my mom was kind of like, this is your journey. You do what you have to do. But I talked to my coach once or twice. He was kind of like letting me do my thing too. And I thought about my teammates, the investment I already had in Pullman, the community, how they supported me. And I didn't want to start all over. I'm like, nah, man, what are you doing? Just accept your role on the team and go out and make the best of it.
It's just an emotionally mature decision.
I was high. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm out of this. I say goodbye to people like as it's summertime and I'm saying goodbye to people like, all right, man.
Dramatic.
Like, I'll see you guys, my roommates and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my boys, the 49er fan I was saying about, he go, man, you ain't going nowhere, dog. I'll see you. I'm
that was your
all right,
Wolf of Wall Street
I'm out
moment.
of here, man. I'm out of here.
Wait, what was your breaking point? Like, when did you kind of decide I'm done? Like, what was happening?
Because they had me in the slot, and all through high school, I was an outside receiver, and they moved me to the slot, and the slot wasn't popping like it was in today's game, and I just wanted bigger plays. I was getting targets, I wanted bigger plays, but that's what's best for me. I'm a slot receiver.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
ESPN's Bill Barnwell released a list of superlatives for every team in the AFC. It has a ton of interesting points, including naming the Raiders, quote, most likely to improve. He said the quickest and most fruitful way for NFL teams to win more games is to upgrade at quarterback and head coach. Vegas did both, swapping out fired head coach, Antonio Pierce for Pete Carroll, and the quarterback duo of Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew for Geno Smith, reuniting the key figures from a 2022 Seahawks team that made an unexpected trip to the postseason. Do you expect to see the Raiders improve? Oh, okay.
No. I think they'll be fun to watch. They'll be entertaining. Pete Carroll's going to get things, the culture right over there. But come on, man. We know what division they're playing in. We know how far behind the Raiders are as a football team when it comes to all the things that I mentioned. I mean, who they open up against? They got to go to New England. They go to Washington, D.C. and Commanders.
Tough.
Obviously, you go to Kansas City.
Tough.
You go to Philly.
Tough.
I mean,
I think they're 1-4 to start the season.
Man, but they also got some games too.
But they make friends along the way.
They do make a lot of friends. Yeah, they make a lot of friends.
You know
I
what
like
I mean?
that. Yeah.
But they have so much fun and do lots of activities.
So much fun. Learn so much about themselves.
It's just Pete Carroll and Geno Smith with bunk beds.
It's like a men's retreat. You know, you go out there and better yourself as a man. That's what the season is going to be for the Raiders.
I genuinely so love Pete Carroll and like the Seahawks outside of the regular preseason opponent, obviously geographical closeness, aren't facing the Raiders. I don't care. Go Raiders.
Yeah.
Like I really like Ashton Genty, really like Pete Carroll. I know he's got a lot of former Seahawks folks like on his staff and just in that organization right now. Geno Smith is there. I never had a big issue with Geno Smith. Good for them.
Yep.
I don't know. It's hard not to root for him. Let's see. Do we have enough time for one other point? We don't. We'll go ahead and get back to it later. We've got some fun segments today. A bit later, again, this jinx thing we're having so much fun with. So we're going to go over a brief history of sports jinxes. And for those of you who are borderline but kind of think they're real, I fear that you may be convinced with that segment that they are, though. Stay strong. I believe. Fight the fight. Coming up next, we're going to have a fun exercise here. There is a Detroit AA affiliate, a minor league team, that is giving an HBO late night show the opportunity to completely rebrand their minor league team. So now we're going to make our own minor league theme. That's coming up next.
The Astros take the opening game of this 4-game series. And, man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms. That's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place Ams look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here with an incredibly special guest, the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy's a proud Seattle Sports listener and recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, tell us about your treatment.
The entire treatment was just 5 days, less than an hour a day. I spent more time commuting to the appointment than actually being in treatment.
Any side effects during or after?
I've had very few side effects. I've been very lucky to not have some of the side effects that I was worried about with other treatments.
What would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife, and I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thank you, Andy, and congratulations. Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly. You don't even need a referral. Go to swedish.org/CyberKnife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl. Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
I know you want one of the new top-rated TVs.
And a low price.
We can get a top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony TV at a better deal than you found on the internet.
No way. Where?
At Video Only. This weekend, they've got special 3-day-only prices on all those top TVs.
Video Only can beat all these deals I've found?
That's right. This weekend, Video Only's got great deals on the best TVs. So let's check them out, or...
We'll be sorry.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Curtis Rogers is out this week. Matt Nelson, who you guys already know, he's normally running the board, is filling in as producer. And I think that you've had more fun with this segment than any of us so far. How many themes have you come up with? 27?
Too many. I couldn't stop myself.
It's okay. I love them. Make your own MLB minor league theme night. This is inspired by the Detroit Tigers AA affiliate, the Erie Sea Wolves, who are ceding full creative control for their team's rebrand to John Oliver's Last Week Tonight team. We talked about the story a little bit yesterday in the timeline, and we thought we'd have a fun Friday segment. It's a quick one, just a couple minutes here, where we're talking about our own minor league theme night. You can join it on the text line, 866-979-3776. You have to tell me the theme that you would choose. And I need an explanation, right? Nothing boring. Star Wars theme night. That already exists.
What you mean? That's probably on Matthew's list.
It is. Well, no, we've done Star Wars night, says Matt. We've done Marvel night. We need to go more niche, more obscure, more cult, more dangerous.
More ridiculous.
More ridiculous. Cross the line with both feet.
With both feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt's got a couple ideas. Do you want to hear them, or do you have one to say?
Go ahead. Let's hear some of Matt's.
Okay. Matt, you've chosen. What's your favorite that you've made?
There are so many terrible, terrible ideas here.
I like Survivor Night.
Ooh, Survivor Night would be fun. Every inning, you vote out one member of your row.
Yes.
The last person standing gets a free ticket to the next game. We get Jeff Probst to throw out the first pitch.
Yes, I think that's amazing. I love that idea. I love the idea of, first of all, it's like a democracy. I love the idea of everyone getting a voice in a vote. It also celebrates one of my favorite shows, which is Survivor.
Okay. All right. Mine would be 2000s karaoke night. So each section has to be like an entertainer of the 2000s, and in between innings, they put the camera on that section, and everyone like performs a song. So say like section G is Nelly. Everyone dresses up like Nelly, and you sing a Nelly song.
Yeah.
Section H is J-Lo. Everyone dresses up like J-Lo, you sing a J-Lo song. So 2000s karaoke night.
Okay, I like that. I think you're playing it a little safe.
Yeah.
This is what I want to see. I want to see something like
this. It's a family affair.
Well, no, hear me out. I want to see a version of like, you break it, you buy it night, and this is how it works. If a player commits an error or strikes out or somehow does something that he would not like to do in a game, so like he breaks something, that player is replaced by a fan from the stands.
Come on, are we getting this? This is sounding like they still got to play the game.
But this is fun. It's a fun twist. If you commit an error at third, guess what? You're getting replaced, and it's a fan out there as your starting third baseman.
You're playing with guys' futures here.
Oh, come on, for one game?
Yeah, you're playing with their future.
Yeah, the guy that's going to go out there and blow us all away with his performance as a starting third baseman.
So we're not being real
Frank,
here. We're not being
6 beers
realistic.
in.
This is like fantasy type stuff.
Of course.
Mine was something
I'm
that
sorry, when
can
we said
actually
Survivor
happen.
Night, when you vote out people from your row and they have to go home.
Bum, I'm going to be real with you. If you don't like these being ridiculous, you're really going to hate Danger Night.
Matt wrote down Purge Night, self-explanatory.
Just Purge.
gracious.
We just do the Purge. Just sound the sirens, do the Purge.
See, I'm thinking like I'm at the ball game with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Don't take your kids to Purge Night. That's
Don't take your
dangerous,
kids to
Bum.
Purge
That's
Night.
crazy. Why would you do that?
No,
Oh, man.
Purge Night is adults only. And frankly, I'm not even going to that one. That's scary. But I applaud the
nobody's
effort.
going to that one.
Thinking outside
It'll
the
be
box.
empty in that.
No,
that
some people are
piece.
going to go to Purge Night.
Oh, people would go to Purge Night, Bump.
Absolutely, they would go to Purge Night. Someone said, I think Bump would like a furry night.
I ain't against the furries.
Nothing
I ain't
but
against
love
the
for the furries. Okay. Matt's also got Severance Night. Replace all the players with people who don't know how to play baseball, which I can respect.
Y'all trying to get people killed out there.
What are you talking about?
Let me throw a baseball as hard as I can at you, Stacy. You're not catching it. Y'all trying to get somebody killed out there. Exit velo.
This could be
Exit velo. 100 off the
no,
bat.
This
Y'all
is
trying to get
still
somebody
safe.
killed.
Okay, so another safe example. Fog Night. It's just a regular game, but we close the roof. We rent 30 industrial fog machines, and we flood the field and concourse. Matt wrote, imagine how cool it will look.
You do that on like a night game late in the year?
Yeah.
That'd be such a vibe.
Oh my God.
You know what? I would condone y'all getting people killed. I would condone or want like glow in the dark. You know how like they do night golfing where the ball lights up?
Now you're thinking,
Glow in the dark
Bump.
ball.
Yeah, but it's safe though. You can still see the ball. You know, like
No, we turn all the lights off.
yeah, you can turn them all off.
Yeah.
But you can still see, and the players are lit up in the
I think
lights
that's an
and stuff.
amazing idea.
Yeah, I'll do
and
that.
they have to have like glow in the dark skeleton things on their jerseys so that they're like skeletons out there.
We got to
catching
do this
balls.
game on Halloween.
Yeah. See, now we're cooking
The
with
lines
grease.
are like black light.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Okay. Matt wrote, let's see, a danger night. You just pay attention and get beamed with a baseball. Waivers necessary.
Take down the nets. Everyone's got to be on their game. You got to be ready for this one.
Matt also has Introvert Night. Only allowed to sell 1 ticket per section. It will be expensive, but worth it.
Matt would love it.
That'd be great. I'd
Matt
go
would
to
love
that
it.
game. That'd be the one you get
Whole
me out
section to
to.
yourself would rock. For
You
sure.
got to at least have one, homie. I don't want to go to the game by
God.
myself. How about free beer night? Everything's free.
No. 206. Imagine Joe from row 127, hot corner, a few
Yeah.
beers deep. That's what I
Yeah.
want to see, though.
Yeah, that's so dangerous. Y'all don't understand.
I mean, it is very clearly dangerous, but I mean, that's why we have Danger Night. You know what I mean?
Danger night.
What about Loud Night? You want to do Loud Night?
What's
Whenever
Loud
the
Night?
visiting team is up to bat, we just crank the PA system to as loud as it goes. Hand out free earplugs, first 10,000 fans.
Yes.
How about club night? Like music just plays throughout the whole game.
Club night, you use golf clubs instead of bats.
See, Stacy's Club Night's so much more fun. Yours is boring. We're just playing music. They already do that, Bump.
No, the
We're
whole
thinking
game,
outside the
though.
box.
The whole game. You have VIP sections and stuff.
Okay.
Everything is Diamond Club that night.
Ooh, and then you get the you have girls walking around with the champagne bottles
Bottle
that have
service.
the sparklers, bottle service
Oh,
coming
and now
out.
you're buying into it. Club night.
Yeah, but only if
One
club
of the
night's like
reasons I love
really
life.
popping.
Yeah, but your idea for Club Night was just music. We've made it into something
Music-
fun.
I was amused though. I inspired it though. You know, you guys are catching my drift.
Okay, someone else said free beer night. Have you heard of 10-cent beer night?
That's a
ended up
thing?
being- Did you ever hear? So 10-cent beer night is a historic game. Was it Cleveland?
I think it was Chicago. It was
Chicago?
they burned the disco stuff, right? The death of disco.
So it was. Well, that might be two different things. I know there's two dollops about it.
Okay.
That's how I know. I don't know. But so 10-cent beer night was a horrible promotion where quite literally they made beers insanely affordable and fans got so insanely rowdy that literally the teams, like the game, I think the game had to be suspended. And
Really?
like the teams got involved and like it's one of the funniest things that's
Who
ever
did
happened.
this?
I need to find out.
It
Someone's
was
going to text
it was
me
a
and tell me
professional
right now.
team.
It's a famous, I should know this. I
On
listened to a whole
June
thing.
4th, 1974,
Yes.
Cleveland and Texas played
I swear
in
to God,
Cleveland.
I think Groz was at this game, and I'm not kidding.
What?
That
Yes.
would be such a Groz story.
Okay,
I'd
so
love that
this
for
was,
him.
as Matt said, June 4th. So it was a cup of beer for 10 cents each, which is equivalent to 64 cents today.
Wow.
So it's not even like, oh, that would have been like, $5. It's essentially free beer. So people got a substantial amount of alcohol in their system. And it just turned into the messiest.
There has to be footage of this.
It was a riot, like an actual riot. This says a 19-year-old fan ran onto the field and attempted to steal Texas outfielder Jeff Burrow's cap. So, I mean, it's just, we're going to now be reading about that. We have to hit a break, and we're going to talk about 10-cent beer night. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
What if the Mariners were fully healthy? They had their full complement of everybody in the rotation. You had Robles, you had Rayleigh, Brash from the start of the year, I guess, 2. All of those guys are only worth 2 wins?
They're getting it done in a different kind of way. I mean, yeah, I think everything has worked out for a reason.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners take on the Astros for Game 2 of a 4-game series at 5:10 p.m. today. Pre-game show starts at 4 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. A look at MLB's scoreboard. One game going on right now. It's Orioles, Red Sox. Baltimore was up 2-1 early, but Boston has taken a lead 6-2.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Mariners with Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Gary, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am glad that George Kirby was able to get out of the game healthy. I am glad that there are still 3 games to play in this 4-game series against Houston. But what a tough loss. Just a game that you knew was over pretty early. And at that point, you're just going, can everyone stay healthy? What can you take from this one, if anything?
Well, he didn't throw a no-hitter, so that's one thing that didn't
my
happen in the game.
My bad. I'm sorry.
We're not going to jinx anything else tonight, are we?
No.
Should I be a concern?
First of all, again, I stand by that jinxes aren't real. And then I also said, that the Mariners would win their last 3, and then people got mad. So I said Jose Altuve will hit 2 home runs again.
Oh, okay.
So
reverse jinx. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, those nights happen, which is not fun, but it's something that occurs. And the fact that he was on the mound throwing is the best news of all. I actually think he pitched better than his final line. I thought his defense kind of let him down. There was a double play that should have been made. But it was just good to see him back. And one thing we're going to have to keep in mind, like, that was his first start of the season. It's, he's just out of spring training, essentially, if you want to think about it that way. So it's going to take some time for him to get back to where he was last year, but this is a huge first step for the Mariners. I still find it remarkable they are where they are given the injuries and the fact that he threw last night and looked great. And in fact, just a few moments ago, Bryce Miller and Logan Gilbert just got done throwing some simulated game action. So I don't know. It feels like this is finally coming together where the entire rotation is going to be back and throwing, and you couple that with what the offense has been doing for the most part this season, and you can kind of dream big on what the Mariners can do this year.
For the people listening in their car or on the app, they're not looking at the video. Before I ask you my baseball question, can you tell me about the decor that is behind you in the booth? It looks really good.
Are you talking about the field?
No, I'm talking about the handsome young man over your shoulder.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that was there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look, that looks like Matt Nelson. How did that happen? Huh.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
what
like
a great
to,
photo.
Matt loves this, by the way, that I do this, because I like to have a Matt Nelson Easter egg in every one of these that I do. So there it is, right there.
There we go.
That's today's.
All right.
Just a big picture of Matt Nelson, which I think everyone should. This is what everyone should be doing.
I agree.
I'm going to put one up in my living room today.
When you do broadcasting from home, you can have a picture of Matt in the background.
Hey, did you see when Julio's back kind of tighten up on him, and what are we hearing so far today?
I did not see, and in fact, we heard right before the game and didn't hear anything till after the game like everyone else. So it was not a fun game to think about. You think about the worst in those situations. It's good news. It was just that. I've not seen a lineup today. It wouldn't surprise me if the lineup wouldn't come out till later, just for him to go through pregame routine and just see where he's at. That's just a guess. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but it's good news. It was just that. And so hopefully he's in there. And because it was noticeable without him in the lineup, that's for sure. Like, he is impactful. He's dangerous. He's a threat. He bats in the middle of the order. And without him in the lineup, it does make a difference. And we saw the impact last night.
Quick question from a listener, and then I've got one more. They just said, can you ask Gary if it was the right time, this being game one against the Astros, for Kirby to come back?
The right time is whenever he's ready, I think.
So maybe yes.
Yes.
If he was ready, then you got to throw him out there.
Yeah, if he's ready, he's your guy. And even if it's his first start back, you want him to get the process started as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's funny because the Astros are in a similar boat with McCullers. He's had a couple starts under his belt, but it was one of those games where you could play that game 10 times and it would be wildly different, the outcomes, because McCullers has had kind of a roller coaster ride coming back, too. Like, he was decent last time. Mm-hmm. He gave up 7 runs in the first inning the time before that. And, he's been out way longer than Kirby, obviously. But it's one of those things where, hey, he could have pitched 5 scoreless against the Astros. You don't know. And it's just one of those things. But the moment he's ready, you fire him out there.
To quickly build off of, I know Bump was asking about, some of those injuries and with Julio and when we could see him. We had Ryan Rowland-Smith on a little earlier this week, and he was talking about some of the signs that he was seeing with Julio that was making him wonder whether there could be just an offensive explosion or maybe a hot streak or just that he was seeing lots of encouraging things. Are you also seeing that from Julio?
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
You look at the month of May, he's batting 275-ish, and he's 5 home runs so far. I mean, that's pretty solid. I think what's interesting about what he has done so far this year is he's really cut the strikeout rate by a lot, and he's basically doing it by being more aggressive on first pitches, which has worked out well because he's doing a lot of damage on first pitches. He has one of the highest swing rate on first pitches, and so he's not getting to 2-strike counts as often, thus he's not striking out as often. So it's an approach that's really worked from him, kind of being ultra aggressive. And as we know, we see him get on these ridiculous runs where he's as hot as anybody. And you kind of see it coming when he's hitting the ball hard consistently, and he's been doing that. But overall, he's been, he hasn't been one of those lights-out stretches, but he's been pretty good for a month.
Hey, we saw Solano come in the 7th, I believe, for Tellez. What's the thinking there? Is it just a righty-left-up matchup? As simple as that? Because I'm just looking at Tellez, and I'm thinking, man, just let the big man hack at this thing. But it was just simply matchup, you think?
Pure matchup. A pure platoon situation. And Tellez is not as good against lefties as he is righties, and that happens with a lot of platoon situations. So as we've seen, especially now with all their injuries, they're trying to put their guys in the best positions possible, and a lot of time that's matching up, especially at the bottom of the order. And Tellez is a guy that you want to try and put in good spots to match up with. So that's exactly what that is. It's just a straight platoon.
What are one of your, again, I'm sorry, a question that I asked Ryan, but we like asking you guys just to kind of track these things. There's a lot to like about the Mariners so far, so by no means is this me kind of looking for weaknesses just to nitpick. However, I want to find out the most important questions so that I don't distract myself with ones that don't matter. For you, Gary, what's one of the most important questions you currently have about this team that's kind of nagging in your brain as you start to, even whether they win or lose, you're just kind of wondering about this team right now?
Oh, well, I think it's kind of the obvious. It's the health. And it's not just the rotation, which we've talked about a lot. It's the fact they've missed Robles for just about the entire season, and they've missed Raley for a lot of the season. And those two guys were super productive for them last year. And so leading into the stretch a couple weeks ago, I thought this was going to be a really difficult stretch, especially this road trip, because, there's you look at the situation and you're missing a couple guys that are Cy Young Award contenders, right? You're missing your leadoff man. You're missing Raley, who I think was a top 3 offensive guy for them last year. That is the reality of the situation. And you don't have guys on hand that you can just plug in and replace, and especially in the case of the rotation guys, replace some of the best players in the game. So for me, when I was looking at this stretch, I thought it was going to be really tricky because I thought there'd be games where that would just show up because that's the kind of thing that happens. And the fact that they're on this road trip and 5-2 on this trip, I find pretty remarkable because I would have said, hey, give me a 500 trip and I'd be good with this trip. You're closer to guys coming back and then you can put a run together. The fact they swept San Diego and then took a series after that is great. Now we'll see. It still could be a 500 trip. We'll see how the next 3 games play out. But they just continue to put themselves in a good spot. So health continues to be my biggest question, and that's probably everyone's biggest question at this point. But what I think is exciting about where they're at, they were red hot offensively in April. May, they have not been to that level, but I didn't expect them to be because I didn't think Polanco could carry on. It's too much to ask for him to do what he did in the first month. Cal, though, has been just crushing it still. But their offense, I think, has settled in at a good baseline. So if you do get healthy in the rotation, I think the back end of the bullpen has been really good. You can see, especially in American League that's wide open, a division that's wide open, you can see how you can put a consistent run together for a long time.
Tell me about this matchup today. We got Emerson Hancock against Ryan Gusto. Gusto, a big boy, 6'4", 232. What's his profile?
Yeah, Gusto's kind of been in and out of the rotation. The Astros have had injury problems themselves, and so he's a guy that was asked to fill in. Hey, he started the year in the bullpen. He's moved to the rotation. He's been back and forth, and it's been hit or miss. So it's hard to know exactly what to expect from Gusto in this one. I'm really anxious to see what Hancock looks tonight. He was a different guy last time out. The 13 hardest pitches he's thrown in his career were all in the last outing, including one that was 98. So I'm really curious to see where this goes from here because he's looked like a different guy. And I know the overall numbers aren't overwhelming, but I think generally he's been really good. He's had 2 really bad innings. In fact, most of the runs he's given up this year has been in 2 innings, one against the Yankees, one against the Tigers. And if you take those out, the rest of it has been pretty good. Now, I know you can't take it out, and those innings both led directly to losses. But he's put together a run that I think is really exciting compared to what we've seen before. So I'm really anxious to see what it looks like tonight. And then the Astros, what's wild about them, and I know they just pummeled the Mariners last night, put up a bunch of runs, but it's a good matchup in that they are entirely right-handed, except for one switch hitter in the lineup. Without Alvarez, they don't have the big lefty thumper, so I think that plays into his favor as well.
I was going to say, it's you mentioned, despite them completely pummeling you last night, because they've not been a team that's had a ton of offensive success early this season. I think it's still fair, Gary, to see this series as, I don't want to say, it's by no means easily winnable. It's tough. It's a divisional opponent, one that has a ton of confidence in themselves, rightfully so. They've earned it. But this is a series that could potentially favor Seattle, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think the Mariners have been a better team than the Astros this year. I think it's hard to win a 4-game series on the road. Usually you're happy with a split in that case, especially against a good team. And the Astros are a good team. I still look at them. I mean, they've had a hold of this division for a decade,
It's so
essentially.
hard to shake.
I know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the only time they didn't win the division was a shortened season. Outside of that, it's been their division. And it's going to be theirs till somebody takes it. And we'll see if the Mariners are the team that's going to take it this year. The Mariners have won the season series each of the past 2 years from the Astros. They got off to a good start with a series win in Seattle. So we'll see what the matchup looks like. I think the key for me, and yesterday was an anomaly because the first series, all the games were close. You know, the Astros, they've had their injury problems in the rotation. Their offense hasn't been very good overall, but they're great in the back end of the bullpen. And the Mariners have been, you know, with Munoz and Spire and Brash, are pretty good in the back end of the bullpen too. So for me, when I look at this series, it feels like a race to see who has the lead in the 7th inning. I think the game is kind of short when you look at these two teams. And, you know, I know the overall numbers don't look good for the Astros offensively. They have been much better at home than on the road. They've been a pretty bad road offense this year.
We knew, did you ask us, Art? I'm sorry if Stacy already asked you this, but we knew about Polanco, right? We knew he was going to kind of fade off a little bit. Is there anything you're seeing? Is it health or is it just baseball?
Yeah, it's just part of it's baseball because it's impossible really for anyone outside of Judge to continue what he had going. The thing that I've seen the most in May, he's still hitting the ball hard, which is a great thing. He's just hitting the ball on the ground a lot. He has one of the highest ground ball rates in the month. And when you hit the ball on the ground, you can't do as much damage. So the fact that he's hitting the ball hard, though, is great. If he starts to elevate a little bit more, he'll get a few more of those to fly out. We'll see some homers. We'll see some damage. So I don't think he's that far off, but that's what I'm seeing the most. It's just the ball's on the ground.
He is Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, no problem. I don't think we jinxed anything. I think we're good tonight.
I don't think so. I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
See, someone did ask me to jinx OKC, and for me to say, I think OKC is going to get this done. But it just felt icky.
You said it already, though, naturally.
Yeah, but I think that,
No,
yeah,
you
because I
want it-
did. I said as part of the headline, I fear that OKC is
But you
gonna
want
win
some
this.
intent.
They wanted, like, you need to jinx them. So
Okay.
I'll say that OKC is going to get this done. I just don't feel good about it. But then again, that
That's all.
goes against, I know. Let's get to 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The Tush Push ban did not pass, but you still think the Tush Push soon will no longer be part of football. Why?
It's a wrap. 2026, the Tush Push will not be there. And the reason why I think that.
But we voted.
Yeah. And the commissioner and the powerful owners that be said, look, we got to get this thing done. And the reason why is because you only need 2 more votes to flip that thing. And Goodell said, look, we're going to revisit this thing. Like, why are we already talking about revisiting it?
Right.
And we haven't even seen a Tush Push in the 2025 season. Like, give this some time to marinate and for teams to devise a plan to stop it. Because I think that is what is going to keep this thing alive if teams find a way to lower the success rate. But I don't think that's going to happen. He says we're going to look into more studies when it comes to the Tush Push. Like, what are you really going to study when it comes to the Tush Push? Look, Jerry Jones and whoever the other 5 or 6 powerful owners in this league have spoken, and they are going to make sure that this thing gets banned quickly. Me personally, I like the Tush Push. I mean, I don't think it's going to ruin football if it's gone. I don't think it's going to ruin football if it remains. But I think it's just a soft stance by the owners to really push to get this thing table. Look, talk about it at the end of the season. Like, why are we already revisiting this whole thing? That lets me know 2026, it's a wrap. They're going to find a way to get 2 more owners to flip and to make sure that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are no longer dominant in 3rd and 4th and 1.
It's just bad precedent, too, that you're setting, right? Which is kind of what you're getting at also, is like, it's not just banning it. It's banning something based on the reasons that you're giving, which is, you feel like it's just an unfair advantage is what it is. You can't support it based on injury. You can't support it based on anything except for aesthetics, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like the vibe of the play. And if you do that, then what else is going to be at stake? What if some other team in 5 years starts really succeeding with some kind of play because of some loophole they exploit? Or this isn't even exploiting a loophole. It's just succeeding by virtue of being a really strong offensive line and having a dynamic quarterback.
We're just stronger than you.
Yeah, that's literally what
That's what it is.
And that sets bad precedent.
Mm-hmm.
Second down. NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. You're making your prediction now. Who is it?
It's going to be the young man who's going to touch the football more than any other rookie that is not the quarterback, and that is Ashton Jeanty for the Las Vegas Raiders. In 1983, Dickerson, as a rookie, had the most carries for a rookie, 390 touches. In 81, you got George Rogers with 378. In 99, you got Edwin James with 369. And then in 95, you have Curtis Martin with 368. Lynch, when he was with Pete Carroll, touched the ball 301 times and 315 times in 13 and 12. He's going to touch the ball about 280, 290 times, therefore giving him more opportunity. I think offensively, if we're not talking Travis Hunter, if we're not talking Luther Burden or Tate over there, he's the most talented with the ball in his hands. These are good receivers that I just mentioned, but the running back is the most natural position in football, that and the DN to me. The DN, you go get the quarterback with running the football or being a running back. We've all played kill the carrier. You guys call it something different up here. All right, toss the ball up, but when you get busy, everyone's trying to tackle you. He's going to go off. He's going to go for over 1,000 yards. He'll be the Rookie of the Year. Unless Cam Ward goes nuts, I don't see that happening. Ashton Jeanty, give him the trophy now. It's a wrap.
Third down. What's a trade rumor you would not entertain?
So we brought this up with Big Ray, and the Bears are looking for another running back to put in the backfield with Swift. And I would not entertain giving them K9. They said they're interested in K9. They wanted to move up in the draft to grab Jeanty. They were not able to do that. Big Ray made some good points. He said, look, K9 is more of a gap scheme, and I called it like a destination type of running back. Like, here's where you're supposed to go. Here's where the hole is going to be. Whereas in the zone concept, it's a more free-flowing type of run. I picture like hippies on the beach dancing and it's flowing to the music, right? That's the zone.
Very Burning
And
Man.
then the gap scheme is more choreography. Remember Jabberwockies back in the day? Bow,
Yeah,
bow,
yeah.
choreography.
Okay.
So that's how I describe it. Big Ray doesn't thinks he'll be more suited for that type of offense. I'm not touching K9. I want to give him an opportunity to learn from last year, to have those explosive plays, because I look at the running back room. Charbonnet's good. I think Martinez is going to be fine, and McIntosh is good. K9 is the best running back in that room. He has big playability. I'm not touching K9. Leave him alone. But if you are manager Big Ray Roberts, you are exploring it.
Fourth down. If you were Mike McDonald and you were helping to host a joint practice between the Seahawks and Packers, what's something you would do?
So they are going to have a joint practice. And if I'm Mike McDonald, you're going to go through your regular practice. You got individual drills. You got 1-on-1, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, third down, backed up. Then you have red zone and goal line. When we get into red zone and goal line, I'm lining up in the tush push formation, and I'm looking over at Le Fleur, and I'm just smiling at him. And then we're going to break out of that formation and line up just to say, look, man, learn how to defend this. I know you're the leader of the tush push coalition, but learn how to defend this. I'm just playing. I'm just having some mind games with him, having some fun, and doing my thing. So, yeah, Mike McDonald, do that.
Joe in Bellevue says, wow, there's definitely a price you'd be willing to give up Walker for. Of course.
Yeah, what, you're going to be a first rounder?
You're not, you would
not
never
gonna
be
get a
offered a
first
first rounder ever.
No.
So, of course, there would be a price where you'd think, what are you doing? This is absolutely insane. I feel like I'm robbing you at this point. However, it does beg a different kind of question, not to me, hey, what would it take to give up Walker? But if you're going to say, hey, the argument is that Walker maybe isn't, that Walker's natural gifts as a running back maybe aren't best suited to this offense. The best question to me is, are there other players that may either get a chance to really expand their roles in a Clint Kubiak system because maybe they weren't taken advantage of before? Or is there, conversely, another player that you go, I don't know how this guy fits. Like, I'm curious.
No, I think
work. So you can go either way.
I think Charbonnet is going to get more touches this year. I think he earned them from last year, and I'm sure Kubiak and that offensive staff, they're doing their homework and looking at what he did last year. And the thing that helps Charbonnet, too, is that he's the best in pass pro. We saw that when it's third and long and everyone knows you're going to throw the ball, Zach Charbonnet is in there. So we'll see, man. I think he's the nice two-punch in a 1-2 combo, but you got to stick with K9. Have to.
See what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight. They're taking on the Astros for Game 2. Emerson Hancock on the mound. This is written. I'm not saying it.
All Stacy.
And I, Stacy Rost, and once again putting us on no-hitter watch.
Wow, 2 days in a row.
It's not, again, that's Matt writing that, and I'm
Going for
reading it
another
as a
jinx.
good host. But I am not actually calling a no-hitter for tonight. But speaking of the jinxes that I, again, don't believe in, but allegedly made yesterday, we're going to have a little bit of fun on a Friday and go over a brief history of sports jinxes with some of the most infamous calls. So if you're someone that just loves listening back to, these are calls from games of potentially jinxed moments. Matt was able to collect a ton for us, and then we've got some famous sports curses.
Nice.
Just kind of like
Matthew did his thing today.
we're going to
man.
do an interesting twist on a sports story. So this is going to be going over jinxes and curses, and it's coming your way next.
The Astros take the opening game of this 4-game series. And, man, those booms are really loud. Enough with the booms. That's enough.
Looks like we're fixing to have an old-fashioned Wild West standoff this summer. After a thumping in Game 1, the first-place Ams look to even up the series in Houston. Tonight, first pitch at 5:10. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 4 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com. Muckleshoot.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
I know you want one of the new top-rated TVs.
And a low price.
We can get a top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony TV at a better deal than you found on the internet.
No way. Where?
At Video Only. This weekend, they've got special 3-day-only prices on all those top TVs.
Video Only can beat all these deals I've found?
That's right. This weekend, Video Only's got great deals on the best TVs. So let's check them out, or...
We'll be sorry.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Bankruptcy, foreclosure, bad divorce? Don't worry. Jet City Harley is now considering all credit applications. Couldn't get financed before? Don't worry. No perfect credit, no cash down, no problem. Get financed on a new Harley today. Visit JetCityHarley.com.
On approved credit.
Mariners fans, it's time to bring the noise to T-Mobile Park. This lineup is loaded up and locked in. From every moonshot.
Now Raleigh obliterates this. How far? Way back there.
To every how in the world did he catch that moment?
Tough play. Air Williamson reels it in.
Be here as the squad shuts the door and lights the W.
Munoz looking for the final out. Here's the stretch, and that 2-2 on the way to Young. It is strike 3 called, and the ball game is over.
This is our house.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
The Mariners are back in town next week for a 9-game homestand, and the fun kicks off with a 3-day Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway Tuesday through Thursday against the Nationals. All 3 games are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats starting at just $11. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish cyberknife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish Cyberknife directly at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Jinxes aren't real. They're not.
Okay.
The Mariners are taking on the Astros tonight, which is what it would normally say. Also, strangely, George Kirby on the mound and I, Stacy Rost, am already putting us on no-hitter watch.
Wow, Stacy's already jinxing the game. That's already. I can't believe she'd do that.
An innocent start to this inning. Kirby retired the first 2, and now the Astros have plated 3. They lead by 3.
And here comes Danny. That's going to be it for George here in his first start of the year.
I need a jinx that can be proven in the game today. Julio will get a base hit in his first at-bat.
We have just received word that Julio Rodriguez is a late scratch from the lineup. We do not know why, and there will not be an update until after the game.
We know
Matt,
why.
It's the timing of that music. It's
the production.
Perfect. Production quality is amazing. Nirvana, great choice. We don't know why, Bump.
We do know why.
All of that was chance, but you guys have given me, and I'm saying you guys, I mean Bump, Matt, Ian, and listeners, such a hard time about jinxes that we thought we would treat you on a just kind of a fun, lighthearted Friday to some other famous jinxes. Sorry, to some famous jinxes, not other jinxes, because I didn't jinx anything. But so many of you are convinced that they exist. Politely, I'm offering some proof to your docket here. So let's go over a couple. Jim Nantz refutes the notion of an announcer's jinx right before allegedly jinxing the Lions kicker on Thanksgiving in 2022.
Do not talk to me about an announcer's jinx. Michael Badgley has not missed a kick all year, field goal or PAT.
Well, then I won't say.
You can talk about it. 29 yards.
About it.
Here's Badgley's kick. Oh, my gosh. No.
That could happen to anyone.
Lion fans, I apologize.
That could happen to anyone. Here's another one from Jim Nantz.
They have not had an interception the entire season. Very spare when it comes to the takeaway category, and this was the big question you and I had coming in. Will they be able to stop Baltimore's offense? Just Justice Hill in at running back on 2nd and 10. Jackson's pass. Intercepted! There's that first interception. Saberstill, the rookie from Michigan, has it. Look at Lamar Jackson.
It could be anyone.
There's evidence.
No, John Crook jinxing an extra inning grand slam.
No grand slam for Spencer Steer. Let's hope that continues.
The 2-1. Fly ball left field, pretty well hit. Merrifield going back. It is gone. A grand slam for Spencer Steer. And the Reds have busted it open here in the 10th. They're on top 6-2.
I remain unconvinced. I do remain unconvinced. I know Matt has 3 more examples I didn't play, but I remain unconvinced.
Oh, gee, she wants to ignore the evidence laid out in front of her. Interesting.
Oh,
no,
I'm
real
sorry.
fair-minded, I'd
It's the
say.
evidence that Brock Osweiler in a football game says ball security is important, and then there's a fumble.
I've been a part of a lot of football games, and I don't know if I've ever seen rain like this. Ball security is going to be paramount until this rain slows down a bit.
I mean, the band is leaving. The Alabama band is heading for cover. And ball security, ball's out. Michigan has it. Derek Moore, who had the sack, comes up with the recovery.
How hard is it to say,
Just
hey,
saying.
ball security is really important when it's pouring down rain because he might just fumble here. He probably will,
How many?
and then he
How many?
does.
I mean, you got 100 plays in a game. Just on that play, after he said that,
Maybe there were a lot of fumbles in that game. I don't know. Guys,
But
I
he
remain...
didn't say ball security 100 times.
Okay, so a
Said it
listener
once.
said that my voice gets higher and louder when I don't believe what I'm saying, and I think he's telling the truth because you guys are you're not starting to convince me, but then listen to this. So now I was reading about cursed stadiums. This is from ESPN. The Superdome, obviously home of the New Orleans Saints, was built on a 19th century graveyard. Did you ever hear about the Superdome thing? I had never heard about this.
No.
Had you guys heard about this? Okay. The Superdome was built on a 19th century graveyard, and the Saints were unable to win a single playoff game in the first 33 years of existence. So ahead of their 2000 wildcard game against the Rams, they decided to try to put an end to it by getting some of that bad juju out. They held a voodoo ritual led by an area priestess, and she was joined by a snake, as well as dancers and drummers. Bump, did they win that game?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did. They ended up beating the Rams later that day, and they've since won 10 playoff games and, of course, the 2010 Super Bowl.
First off, why would you wait so long to do the ritual? And this is New Orleans.
That's fair.
Like, that's
it's
part
not
of their
like
culture.
there's not a voodoo priestess down the road.
Yeah, there's several down the road there. This is New Orleans. This is New Orleans. This is what they do. And what they do with the bodies.
You mean for the graveyard?
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're still there underneath the ground.
That is so disrespectful.
They just had to go out and, say, hey.
No, because you dig foundation.
I don't know.
over
You're
there,
not
like-
gonna dig up bodies.
So what do?
I think they built over it.
You have to dig into the ground though. Like the building doesn't just sit on top of the earth. You got to dig into it for support.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
disrespectful.
Bump, if you were given the opportunity, would you want to be buried under Seahawks Stadium?
Heck no. Negative.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay, this same
Bury me in
article-
Pullman, baby. Martin Stadium. That's where I'm going.
This same article points out what I think really happens. They talk about the curse of the Billy Goat, obviously, against the Cubs, which was broken in 2016, and then the curse of the Bambino, particularly with the curse of the Billy Goat, excuse me. This is what I think happens. We start to believe that something is real based on the timing of it or because it's something we can all rally around. But then there's plenty of evidence of that not necessarily being the case. So, like, the Cubs had not made a World Series 37 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 60s, the owner of the goat that was kicked out of Wrigley said, the Cubs are going to make it this year. But then everyone just kind of ignored that he said that. Like, curse is lifted because they were having a good season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, like, much like this, me saying, Julio is going to get a single or whatever, it's just random chance. I have no impact on whether or not Julio ended up getting hurt, and I rest my case.
You're never going to convince me of this, Stacy. You're never going to convince me. Like, you just, you believe in what you believe. And I applaud you for that. And I encourage you to do that because You do what Stacy Joe Ross believes in.
It's just like when you guys told me not to get a Ouija board to try to summon the spirit of Babe Ruth, but then you actually scared me into not doing that.
No,
Like, I did
I'm
get
still
scared.
so on board with that idea. I think that would be incredible.
Here's the thing. I was initially on board with this. I really thought it would be important to talk to one of the greatest baseball players to ever live. But then people started texting in stories about demons, and I was like, now I'm terrified.
I got some knowledge here from Connor and Bremerton. This makes complete sense.
Okay.
The bodies are not buried in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, because it's below sea level.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So they just picked up the tombs and relocated them.
That's very dark.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually believe in jinxes and curses?
I do.
You sincerely do. You're not just saying this to poke at me.
100%.
I believe it.
You truly, truly believe that.
Every time.
Do you see why baseball players don't step on the line, right?
Athletes
They
are the
don't
most
step on the line.
superstitious people I've ever been around.
Yeah, literally. Baseball players are the worst.
But you know why? Because I think the nature of sports is that there's such a thin margin for error.
It's routine.
The nature of sports is that you can do everything perfectly and it might not be enough. That is inherent to sports.
It's life.
But I think that you try to find the tiny little thing that might get you the win, the advantage, and sometimes it's routine, it's luck, it's a curse or not a curse.
You're never going to convince me to think the way you think with this, Stacy.
I guess.
I've played too many snaps.
Too many?
My life, I believe in it. It's happened to me too many times. So.
There have been certainly times where I started to wonder. This is what I'll say. I think sometimes curses let us excuse things. There have been times when I thought, God, are the Mariners cursed?
The curse of the Bambino.
Are they cursed? Sure. Or maybe there are mistakes that the Boston Red Sox made along the way, or bad trades, or bad moves for the front office. Ian, a Red Sox fan, shaking his head. I'm just saying, if you're saying I think the Mariners are cursed, or maybe there are just mistakes that you've made to keep you from getting to a World Series that you can probably correct.
I'm going to treat you like you were my partner. You're my partner on the show, but say you were my partner.
Okay.
And you get into these conversations, you just go, okay. Okay. So I'm like, hey, okay.
Wrapping up the show with what I need to know. Get your questions in 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
What if the Mariners were fully healthy? They had their full complement of everybody in the rotation. You had Robles, you had Rayleigh, Brash from the start of the year, I guess, 2. All of those guys are only worth 2 wins?
They're getting it done in a different kind of way. I mean, yeah, I think everything has worked out for a reason.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The first Mariners fireworks night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop fireworks show, presented by T-Mobile after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits. Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets today.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with
Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours. The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I'm starting with a spicy one, and it's not sports. Be completely transparent, says the 206, so be honest here. In your opinion, what's the biggest age gap that's acceptable in a romantic relationship for it to be successful? A question I'm sure inspired by all the talk about Bill Belichick and his much younger girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. He says, for context, I'm 31, or she, I don't know, and my girlfriend is 22.
I think that's pushing it right there. 31 and 22. Like, 31, you still have energy to do some of the things that a 22-year-old wants to do, like go out to the club or whatnot. Like me right now at 39, I couldn't see myself with someone who's still in them streets like that.
Yeah.
So it's lifestyle, I think, plays a big part into it.
Exactly. If you're 31, but you still love going out and you love partying and you're really energetic, then fine. I think that around, so I'm going to say like 10 years, before anyone says anything, my own parents have a bigger age gap than that. So I'm well aware that age gaps much larger can still have successful, happy marriages. I think the gap, I'm stealing your opinion because we were talking about it off air. The gap gets larger the further away both of you get from like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
So for instance, I'm in my 30s. If a male friend was dating a girl that was, let's say, 23, I'd be like, bro.
Yeah. I'd be like,
that's young.
What y'all talking about?
Yeah, but if, let's say we were 45 and they're talking to a 35-year-old, I'm not really, you know what I mean? Like, I think that there's so much developing you do in your early 20s still, that if both of you are if you're in your 30s and, you know, the other person's in their 40s or 50s, who cares?
You see Cher's boyfriend?
How old
Cher's in her
is he?
70s, right?
How old is he?
He's 30.
You go, Cher. I mean, it's weird. That's a weird age gap. It's very, very weird.
Hey, listen, but if you guys connect, you connect. You know,
Yeah.
as long as it's legal, you connect.
That's
do
what
your
I'm
thing.
saying. If maybe I'm biased and being unfair, but if Bill Belichick, who's how old? 70?
73.
73. If he was dating a 35-year-old, that's still 40 years younger than him. I don't know that I'd be like, oh, wow. But I wouldn't think it was quite as, I don't know, early 20s you're still young. You're quite literally, your brain is still developing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's unfair, but
Live your life, though.
yeah, live your life. Yeah, first of all, your age gap is not uncommon between you and your girlfriend. But yeah, the closer that one of them is to 20, the more noticeable that age gap is. 866-979-3776. Someone says if they're both willing adults, it's no one else's business. No, but when is gossip anyone's business?
Facts.
It's just how it is. What I need to know. Let's get to some sports ones here. Should we give Joel McHale a pass? This can't be true. Yesterday on Good Morning Football, he said Geno Smith is a future Hall of Famer. I appreciate a homer, but come on. There's no way Joel McHale said this. Joel said that?
Come on, Joe.
And that's not any disrespect to Geno. I just think the Hall of Fame bar is pretty high to clear. That people debate whether or not, like, can Phillip Rivers, is he a Hall of Famer? Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? And
Listen, Joe.
I just don't.
You're not representing the Northwest properly with that right there, buddy. No, he doesn't get a pass. No. Geno's not a Hall of Famer. Love Geno. Good luck in Las Vegas. Do your thing, bro. He's not a Hall of Famer.
No.
He doesn't get a pass. No.
No.
He doesn't.
Yeah, definitively. Answer of the show is no, you don't get a pass. That's a massive homer take. And he's not even a Seahawk anymore, so you're not even being a homer. You're being like a Raiders homer. You're being a Geno Smith homer. I think Geno Smith is underrated and gets more hate than he deserves. That's my take on Geno Smith.
He's only started 5 seasons, right? He's spent 5 seasons as a true starter.
He's not
Other than that,
yeah.
he's just not a Hall of Famer.
No, that's an insane take.
No.
Let's see, 866-979-3776. Let's see, let me get some. It's just everyone texting in. Haven't you heard of half your age plus 7? I need questions. What I need to know. How many donuts could you eat in a sitting? Answer honestly.
If I'm really getting after it,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably get 5.
I think I could do 5.
Yeah.
Rookie numbers.
How many could you do, Matt?
We talking like Krispy Kreme?
Yeah, if we're talking Krispy Kreme.
I mean, you could smash those.
Yeah, I could get like 10 of those.
Yeah.
I might be able to hit a dozen because I'm a disgusting, disgusting person.
I feel sick though, man.
Yeah, I get past 2 and like my teeth start hurting. It's just not fun.
What I need to know, can/should a closer ever win the Cy Young?
No.
No?
Nah, man. It's
Ian
when
thinks
you're
so.
when you're a starter. I mean, you're tossing. I looked up all the pitches that Kirby threw last year. It was around like 2,000 some pitches. Like, it's a grind. Cy Young, you gotta earn that one.
Ian, you think that
I think if Munoz if he stays as hot as he's been this year, say he allows 2, 3, 4 runs over the course of an entire season, you got to commend that somehow. And I don't think the starting pitchers in the AL are as dominant as they were. Like Scuba last year.
so? It would be more of like a one-off season,
Yeah.
like in a season in which the
I think
AL,
this is the perfect year for it.
I don't know. You're just always going to run into that take, a very fair one that Bump made of like, but you're just not pitching the same amount of time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Definitely.
You're throwing 18 pitches max.
866-979-3776.
Someone said Gagne won it as a closer. Did Gagne win it? Eric Gagne, did he win it as a closer?
Ian's looking it up. Someone said, my girlfriend's grandpa just turned 103, moved from the Northwest to Florida for an 80-year-old. Family is mad because, quote, she's too young for him.
It's a wrap at that point. You do what you do.
I love that.
Dennis Eckersley in 92 and Eric Gagne in 03.
03. He was with the Dodgers?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. It's possible.
Rivera never won one.
Okay. Really?
That's wild. 866-979-3776. What I need to know, they said if the NBA ended today, who would be a Hall of Famer? So from current stars, who's the obvious
Giannis
Hall of
would be a Hall of
Famers?
Famer. Westbrook would be a Hall of Famer. Dame Dollar.
Who's borderline?
Kawhi Leonard.
Who's the most this guy's so borderline it's going to be a debate no matter what.
Tatum.
Who?
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum's been in the playoffs every year
And
since
won a
he was a
finals.
rookie
Mm-hmm.
and won a finals.
What's the case against him that he's just he's
It's the support team.
got too much around
Like
him?
he's got too much around him.
You know
I
who'd
feel
be a
like
Hall of
there's so many
Famer and I
Hall of
kind of
Famers
hate
that
it?
have, though. Who?
James Harden, man. He does not play well in the playoffs. He just disappears.
Someone says, why not? There have been closers in the conversation. Munoz gets 55 saves with a sub 150 ERA, and he wins it. I just think it's a fascinating conversation. I don't know that it happens. I would obviously love to see it.
Now that I've seen that it's been done, it's a conversation.
More open to it.
But you gotta be filthy. He is filthy. He's
Yeah.
gotta see if he can continue it.
All right, you guys. If you missed any of our interviews today, we had Tim Booth on, who talked a lot about what he'd seen from this Mariners road trip so far. Gary Hill talked about what some of these injuries could mean. Go back and listen to those on the Bump and Stacy podcast. Please rate, review, subscribe. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith. And we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball. But today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
I know you want one of the new top-rated TVs.
And a low price.
We can get a top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony TV at a better deal than you found on the internet.
No way. Where?
At Video Only. This weekend, they've got special 3-day-only prices on all those top TVs.
Video Only can beat all these deals I've found?
That's right. This weekend, Video Only's got great deals on the best TVs. So let's check them out, or...
We'll be sorry.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners get back to it. Game 2 of their 4-game series coming up this afternoon in Houston. They send Emerson Hancock to the hill, looking to get back in the win column after getting it handed to him last night. Some good news. Julio Rodriguez back in the lineup, hitting third after sitting out last night's contest with stiffness in his back. Other games going on. A final from earlier. The Boston Red Sox beat the daylights out of the Orioles 19-5. The final in that game. Other games set to get going momentarily. Cubs and Reds in Cincinnati. Pirates host the Brewers. Nationals host the Giants. Blue Jays in Tampa Bay to take on the Rays. It's the Orioles and Red Sox game 2 of that doubleheader coming up. Tigers and Guardians. Mets play host to the Dodgers. Braves and Padres in Atlanta. And the White Sox and Rangers get together in Chicago, while the Royals on the road to face off against the Minnesota Twins.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Friday to everybody out there. Another beautiful day outside, and hopefully everybody's set to have a great holiday weekend, great weather. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we get back here on Tuesday talking about